What is going on, guys? Big Roy coming at you with the NFL Week 5 Monday Night Football live stream between the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens. What's going on, Josh? What's going on, Tony? How you guys doing tonight? Just going to pull up the bet percentages, put in the stuff I do for this game. 75,430 bets. And then the Colts have 31% of bets against the spread. They have 51% of the money, which has changed drastically from this morning, which had them at 9%. So the money has split out quite evenly now. 61% of bets on the over, money split 50-50 on the OU. Still only 26% of bets, though, and 6% of the money on the Colts money line, which is interesting to note. What's going on, Zaps? Oi, bruv. What's going on? Hopefully you guys are doing well. I'm just quickly updating my numbers to see if I can see any market value for tonight's Monday Night Football game. Zaps is on the Colts, plus 7.5 at minus 109. I like it. I like them at 7.5. Let me, I just want to see what kind of data, though, this throws out at me. So I'm just updating this sheet as we speak. 354. All right. Minus 104, minus 106. And let's take a look and see. So as far as bet percentages go, the spread percentage of bets, 32% on the Indianapolis Colts. On opening lines, 60% win percentage for road teams. On closing lines, 56.52. So it looks like a good play as far as spread percentage of bets go. Unfortunately for the spread percentage of money, though, only 44% on Baltimore right now. On closing lines for the home team, that would put them at 53.64% in a much bigger sample of 151 games compared to the 23 for spread percentage of bets. So we do have conflicting data when it comes to ATS stuff based off of spread percentage of bets tells us to take Indy. However, the spread percentage of money is leaning more towards Baltimore. Let's take a look at the OU. Just from a brief look at this, it doesn't look like there's much value on the over-under either way. The line opened at 48. It's been bet down to 46.5. There's more juice also on the under, so that line might even shift down all the way to 46. What's going on, Mickey? Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. Lamar anytime touchdown minus 106. That's interesting, Tony. That's got to be like a rushing touchdown prop, right? That's not throwing. Like any touchdowns, like I guess rushing, receiving is what counts. Is that? I feel like everyone and their mother's on the Lamar touchdown prop when he plays. Yeah, he's such a unique player. I'm just taking a look at the money line as well. It doesn't seem like there is much advantage on the money line. So if anything, I'd lean towards an Indy spread play, but I don't know if I'm actually going to be making any bets for this game. I'm just going to post in the Discord. What do we have? Indy at Baltimore. Towards Colts ATS, but probably won't place a bet myself. All right. All right, everything is pretty much updated, ready to go. Thank you very much. Mr. Fun Monk just subscribed. Can't wait. I love that Bart Scott thing. I don't get enough of those. We're not popular enough to get a lot of things like that, but appreciate the subscription. Thank you very much, kind sir. So I feel like my work is done here, really. Now it's just sitting back, relaxing, and watching this game. I don't think I'm going to make a play, which is kind of unfortunate, but hey, there's no opportunity. There's no opportunity. It's interesting to note that when I did the betting market video, there was only 9% of the spread percentage money on the Indianapolis Colts. and that has flipped all the way to 56%. So that's quite the big difference. Thank God it's Monday night. What's going on, Mud? I'm excited. Like, you guys are going to laugh because I pretty much say this every game, but, like, I'm excited for this game. Like, Indy's underperformed this year, and Baltimore's looked, I think, how people thought they'd look. Fat Guy will definitely be joining. Mac for first touchdown is 28-1. Fat Guy should be joining, Josh. Who is this is gonna sound so dumb, but is that Marlon Mack on the Colts? Oh, it's okay. Thank you, Mo Alley Cox. It's interesting, right? That's an interesting one because he's like, you think Mo Alley Cox would be more of a threat in the red zone just because he's so big. Like, he's massive. Let's see. Who else do the Colts have? They've got Jack Doyle. They've got a 4th round pick in Kylan Granson, who I haven't seen play personally. Zach Pascal, another big body. And then just look at the backfield that the Colts might have the deepest backfield in the league between Jonathan Taylor, Jordan Wilkins, Marlon Mack, and Nyheim Hines. Like, Nyheim Hines is listed as the 4th back, which I know isn't true, but it's just interesting. The guy just got a huge contract, at least for running backs' sakes. Yeah, it makes sense that when I saw Pascal's name, that's who I figured. Because Pascal's also just a very, very large receiver. Let me take a look and see. 6'2", 207. I would have thought he's like 6'4", but Pascal, I guess, plays bigger than he looks. Yeah, I'd recommend that, Zaps. I'm hoping you can. I've seen, like, right now, if I take Indy plus 7.5 at Pinnacle, it's at minus 101. So hopefully you can get better juice. That's kind of like a very late, like, juice steam towards Baltimore, who is now at minus 110 against the spread on their minus 7.5 line. I'm going to pull up props at Pinnacle and just kind of look through and see if I see anything interesting. What do we got here? It'd probably help if I clicked on the game. So for Wentz props, we have he's favored to have over 20.5 completions at minus 125. For Wentz to throw an interception is minus 109. Longest completion for Carson Wentz, 34.5 yards with even juice on each side. The OU for pass attempts, 33.5. For Wentz, 227.5 passing yards. His OU for rushing yards is 13.5, and the over's juiced up to minus 136. And then touchdown passes, for him to have one or less touchdown passes, minus 231. So interesting to note there as far as Wentz touchdown passes go. And then I like this. This is going to sound bizarre, but I did see that, or at least it's rumored that people are reaching out to Baltimore to try to trade for one of their running backs, which I just find so comical considering they pretty much just signed every guy off the street a few days ago, or at the start of the season after having all their injuries. Mud's on the Hines over 13.5 rushing yards. Let's take a look and see what kind of other props he has. Yeah. Pinnacle has Nyheim Hines rush yards OU at 13.5 as well, with even juice on both sides. His OU for receptions is 2.5, which seems low, but I guess who knows how much playing time is going to be split up between their running backs for any game. Longest reception, 11.5 yards. And then his OU for receiving yards, 21.5. And the under actually has more juice here at minus 120. It's interesting to note. It's pretty crazy that they offer so many OUs. Like you can bet Tyson Williams rushing yards. His OU's 26.5. You can bet kicking points. Rodrigo Blankenship over 5.5 kicking points, minus 136. I remember I'm not as diehard anymore, but if you do want to find a good fantasy kicker, you can just look through the OU on kicking points for all these different guys, and that'll give you a pretty good indication where there is value. Marlon Mack, Mark Andrews, Latavius Murray. Lamar Jackson's OU for rushing yards is 65.5. His OU for rushing touchdowns, if he does score, minus 116. If he doesn't, minus 113. Lamar Jackson passing yards as well, 229.5. Lamar Jackson under 27.5 pass attempts is minus 144. Lamar Jackson's longest completion is 36.5 yards for the OU. He's minus 153 to not throw an interception. Tucker's OU for kicking points, 7.5, but the under is minus 148. And then Jonathan Taylor, minus 146 to have 50 or 60 or more rushing yards. But Jonathan Taylor rushing touchdown to not have one, minus 302. Pretty high odds for him not to score. Interesting stuff. So Fat Guy's still yet to send the invitation to join, but we're 2 minutes till kickoff, so I'm going to pull up the game. And the juices come back to minus 105 on both sides against the spread for the Colts-Ravens game. I don't know why I had to highlight it's the Colts-Ravens game, because obviously that's the only game that we're talking about today. So I'll definitely be rooting for Colts plus 7.5. It looks like Zaps and Mickey are both jumped on that play. Josh said, I'm taking the Baltimore Colts. Talk about hedging. The ultimate hedge right there. See, the other thing too is like, I've really been focusing on key numbers, and 7 obviously is a super key number. But it's interesting to see, like, right now you could get the Colts plus 7.5 at Pinnacle at minus 101. And, like, any decent start for the Colts can shift this line down, the live line down to, like, Baltimore minus 6.5. And then you can buy back on that middle of 7. Because, like, honestly, 7 is the most likely finish here, that the Ravens win by 7. Like, that's, if you were going to simulate and play this game a million times, that's probably what the average score would be. But I don't know. That's something that it can be a little bit risky. So Baltimore's going to start with the ball. Highlighting Lamar Jackson. They dump it off to Duvernay for a short completion. Keep the sticks positive. They're highlighting Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown, Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner. Buckner was one of those guys. It was surprising that San Fran, like, I don't want to say let him go, because I'm fairly certain that it was more of a contract situation for Buckner. And the Colts have had loads of cap space for years. This Colts team, like the Raiders and the Colts and the Browns, those are the 3 teams to me that always kind of stick out as, like, they have the most room to make a leap just because of their cap situations and where they've been able to draft and some of the players they've been able to get. So I know Fat Guy really, really loves the Colts. Oh, that's too bad, Zaps. That's the thing, too, about, like, sports betting is, like, the juices, especially towards kickoff, they can drastically change. Well, good start for the Colts. There's a possession in their favor, you can say, because Colts are going to have the ball to start the second half, and Baltimore wasn't able to put up points this first drive, so pretty big advantage here for the Colts. Sam Cook with the punt. Naeem Hines is going to return this. Picks up a couple yards. That did not look fun for Campbell. And we get to see Carson Wentz first action tonight. And like I said, like, live line right now, for if you wanted to take the Ravens, you could get the -6, -111. That's interesting, Mud. Like, that would be pretty crazy if they did that. Like, that would be interesting, because what is it? Does he have to start 6 games, or I can't remember what the exact stipulation is. But, like, if you're that far in the hole, you might as, I don't know how creative they want to get. Because if they really want Wentz as, like, the future, then, like, you might as well play him and see what you got. 75% of snaps. How meta would it be if they reached, like, week 12 and they decide to sit him, and then they just throw, like, go for these extended drives. They have players sliding once they get first down, stuff like that. That would be crazy. I don't even think teams should be able to throw in those kind of stipulations in trades. It just seems like such a strange strange thing to do. I'm sure there's so many more things that are like contract related as far as performance goes that than we even realize. We always hear like incentive bonuses and that kind of stuff, but it's just crazy. Like Austin Eckler, like I know he scored that touchdown where they dragged him in last night, but like I'm sure Eckler probably has some sort of touchdown related incentive to his contract. So it's like, should the guy, like it's just tough, right? If a player has stuff incentivized for them to, if they have stuff that's incentivized into them, scoring touchdowns and stuff, even though it might not be the best way to win a game, it's just, I find it very interesting. You hear me okay, fat guy?
Absolutely.
Nice. You're coming in a little bit quiet, but I think that's just because you're
quiet
facing. Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
Yeah, you just weren't facing the mic. The Mud brought up an interesting point, and he was talking about like if the season's going not well for if the season's not going well for the Colts, do they sit Wentz? Because they have he has a 75% snaps or more, where the Eagles get a first round pick from them.
Yeah, I mean I would. But that comes down to like that's like a pretty analytical approach. Do you know what I mean? Like people are involved, right? Like that's gonna piss him off, right? Like
yeah,
and like I don't know. And he's kind of a baby already, in my opinion.
Yeah, he did. It wasn't good with how he left Philly, and
well, like he legitimately lost his starting job for performance reasons, and he complained about it. Well, I mean, dude, sorry, Jalen Hurts gave them a better chance of winning. You were a baby about it. It's a completely meritocracy. Just because you're drafted second overall or whatever, or third, it shouldn't have given him that type of attitude. So I can't imagine that would go well with him, right? But then you could just kind of tank, I guess, and yeah, I mean that's what I would do. Like, it's so funny too. You might want to they'd have to do some of the math so that because they're already a quarter way through the season, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, do they reach week 12? And then all of a sudden they become a very efficient offense. Like guys are sliding for first downs just to make sure the percentage of snaps.
Yeah, that's
they game the system.
It'd be too hard to do that. That's where my brain went though. Yeah. But you probably have to. I don't know.
Okay, I'll cut us off. I'm gonna cut us off because there was a 76-yard touchdown there by Jonathan Taylor. Everybody is super excited because we have at least two backers on the Colts plus 7.5, both Mickey and Zaps, as far as I know. Unfortunately, I think Mud had Mo Alley Cox for first touchdown, so that didn't work out. And it's too bad that it wasn't Nyheim Hines, or you got rushing yards anyways, so it wouldn't have mattered. Zaps with a fun fact here. The Titans clinched the division with the Colts lost tonight. That's pretty funny. Yeah. I like that one. Go Giants. Wow, let's go. Wow, no penalty too. 76-yard TD. Did you guys see that? Fat guy. This is what I really want to shout out. Fat guy's lighting is spot on. He looks majestic. I've been giving the fat guy a tough time for his setup because, him and I are both new. We're both learning. I just have a little bit more of less of a learning curve because I've made more mistakes over our time.
I'll be honest, guys, and I don't who wants a good look at me? Like, I always found it weird. Like, what do you mean lighting? I always found it yeah, what are you talking about? So, but I caved because of the membership videos. So, that attitude it isn't around anymore apparently.
Yeah, and Jessica's just killing this solo. So, how can I not take my eyes off Dancing with the Stars when it's a Colts Ravens sleeper on Monday night? Yeah, hopefully that lighting isn't shining off his ass this time. I agree, Josh.
Yeah, that was pretty good though. Like how Mickey Mickey put a photo of it in the group.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah,
documenting what we all had to see.
yeah, yeah. There would there was some politics in there. Normally I'm a let it fly type of guy, Mickey. But there
I
was some pushback.
I got a lot of I have to throw the chains on this beast once in a while.
Yeah, there you go. If you want to know who the authoritarian is, it's the girl with the long hair.
Yeah, the guy the girl with the scrunchie, I like to be called.
I thought you cut your hair, but I just realized it was behind you the entire time.
Yeah, it's where I like to keep it. Also, uh, I'm still pretty jacked on myself coming up with the term analytical fortitude. I think that's a great term.
You came
now.
up with that?
Probably like no. I'm sure someone else has said it sometime, but I just like analytical fortitude when it comes to these coaching decisions. This has been a groundbreaking year. I'm saying right now, this has been a groundbreaking year for coaches. I feel like more guys have been making smarter decisions now than ever before.
I highlighted that in the video, but I just feel like everyone's more aggressive, right? But which will help with adoption too, right? Like,
Well, even like the Houston game,
success with it, right?
watching the Texans do what they did against the Pats this week, like it's pretty surprising that they lost, considering all the smart, savvy decisions that they made.
Yeah, exactly.
Despite being like,
what about the Chargers Browns?
Yeah, like that game was unreal. That game was
like
how we imagine football.
Walk and kill.
Yeah, like that's how I imagine football should be, though. Like,
well, that's how you put 49 points up, right? Yeah. And the other thing too is they put up 42 and 49 points up against two of the better defenses in the league.
Yeah,
Chargers and Browns are good. Like, they have good defenses, believe it or not. I mean, there is no really good defense, but like, that was impressive. That's not a catch. That's not a catch. I like Mark Andrews.
Staley is genius. He's been really, really good.
The best. He's the best. First I said it was Stefanski. Now I might think it's Staley. Like, they're the two best in the league. Those are the two best coaches in the league. And I understand that they don't have the, I get maybe we'll call it player evaluation, strategic acumen of the Belichicks and the Reeds. But as far as clock management, fourth down attempts, all that stuff, they're 100%.
It's just it's a different game now too than even 10 years ago. Like, this is a much different game than when even you and I started like betting on
I think this Chargers team 10 years ago would destroy any of those other teams. Like, they're so not messing around, that team. Chargers team is for real good.
And then, go ahead. The other thing I was thinking, because we saw the Herbert MVP odds and we were kind of like, what? Like, at the start of the season going like, is this for real? But
it influenced our decision making in terms of the Chargers, though.
It did. And now what made me think of this, and we unfortunately didn't have odds, or at least I didn't see or get to see odds at Pinnacle because they don't carry this. But I would have liked to see like Coach of the Year, because there was probably more value to take Staley at Coach of the Year than Herbert at MVP, which is interesting to think.
Yeah, but that Chargers team, I think, is good coming from behind and with the lead. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a rare combination, right? Like, they pulled off an astonishing comeback against the Browns, more or less. They put up 26 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Because usually if it's like 18 or more in a fourth, you're kind of like, okay, there's got to be big mistakes, and it wasn't really any big mistakes. I'm sure we could nitpick and go find a player. Well, and there's
people say some refereeing stuff, whatever though. Like, And I'm a
That
Browns fan.
balances
I
out.
really am. I really am. But then also too, like that game gave me confidence in the Browns too. I'd be really disappointed if those teams weren't in the playoffs, and I'd watch out for those teams. I really would. I want to see Buffalo play either of those teams. I want to see that go down.
Buffalo's had a ridiculously good start though to the season, both
Yeah,
offensively and defensively. Like it's, I'm not discounting Buffalo now until I see it. Like that's just how well they've played.
I don't know. I don't think they've played an actual defense aside from Pittsburgh, and they lost that game. What do you mean Mayfield doesn't have to finish because he lost? Mayfield put up 42, so they can kick rocks. Like I don't understand. I don't even like Baker Mayfield. It's hard
Yeah,
not to take the
Mickey.
Chargers every week. 3.5 points, the look ahead line against Baltimore. Please, man, that's a total mispricing. Total mispricing. I think Baltimore's a 2.5 point favorite. I don't know how you could give them the hook. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Because I think the Chargers are a better team on neutral field than Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think that's arguable, to be honest.
And then back to like talk about home field advantage is pretty much
Nothing.
like pretty much every game is a neutral game at this point.
Yeah, I guess. That line is going to be pick 'em after night. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it should be like Baltimore -1, 1.5. I'm even going to backtrack that further.
The
I don't even know if I don't think Jackson's a better quarterback than Herbert.
no. Like it's not. And that's no slight
We're not
to
hating on
Jackson.
Lamar
It's just
Jackson at all.
Herbert has more
Versatility. He's so dangerous the whole way. Yeah, obviously no one's as good a runner as Lamar Jackson probably ever. Like I'm conceding that. But as far as decision making, accuracy, it's not close. Exactly, Tony. Like it's just
when it comes to
Herbert,
throwing
you
the
could
ball,
even
Herbert
argue-
has a lot of tools.
You could even argue Herbert's a top 5 quarterback, and he's trying to push the top 3. You know, because obviously you have Mahomes, Allen, Wilson, Rodgers, and Herbert. I think.
And
I think
you got to
that's it.
throw in probably Brady and Murray in there as well.
Yeah.
So
Brady
it's-
and Murray. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
such a it's I feel like we've said this forever because like guys like Breeze has retired. Who else is retired? Like Manning. It's
Peyton
been a
Manning.
few years now, but like it was always like, oh, what are we gonna do after this group of quarterbacks is
It's
done?
here.
And like these guys have just been crazy.
Well, yeah, Zap's like at worst he's 7th. At worst, I don't know, and like it's the Brady is hard for me to always sign off on because he's like the best pre-snap guy ever, but physical tools he just doesn't have any. Like he can't throw a ball nearly even in the same stratosphere as Justin Herbert, right? And that's to be expected. He's in his 40s. Justin Herbert's a 20-year-old, right? Like what's Herbert, 25, 26? No, he might be 24. Yeah. So
That
I don't
was
know.
a
I
nice run for Hines.
It was
so
a great
pretty
run.
close to that 13.5.
He's 23 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my god! At this trajectory, he'll be the best player in the league.
We didn't even mention Dak Prescott talking
Yes,
about
and I like Dak
quarterbacks.
Prescott. It's just a crazy group, right? That's why when you have let's think of teams. Okay, like the Colts. The Colts have a great roster, but how are you gonna how are you gonna bust into the top fray? Like, yeah, Wentz is okay. He's not in the same league as those guys. It's not the same, you know.
Well, he had his MVP caliber season, and then it's been below average pretty much every other year of his career.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just obviously we Dak looks so good too. Yeah, and then that worries me as a Browns fan is I think the Browns have the best top to bottom roster if you take quarterback out, but and I don't even think Mayfield's bad. It's just there's a tier level, and he's not in the breadth of those other guys, right?
We didn't even. I'm just looking through. We didn't mention Stafford.
Yeah, and Stafford's another guy that's close. He's probably a tier behind them, and then Mayfield's a tier behind him. You know, you still can't undervalue Russell Wilson too.
And then as far as physical
Good evening,
tools,
Eric.
like I don't know about like I'm very concerned about the coaching, but like Trevor Lawrence, when it comes to like the physical tools, like might have the best physical tools out of any of these guys, which is just crazy
Yeah,
to think. He still has
he's
so much
yeah,
to improve. Like he's bottom of the barrel as far as starters go right now, but just seeing like the raw physical tools that he has is very
yeah.
impressive. That's why like I don't know how
Nice run.
even just the little
Nice
I've
run.
seen from Tua, like I like it just doesn't seem like Tua's there. We didn't even mention Kirk Cousins. Mac Jones has had an impressive start to his
Yeah,
career. Winston's
yeah.
been all over the
These are
place.
all like
Same
way
with
tiers
Daniel
below.
Jones. Uh, Hertz is below. Roethlisberger has fallen. Wilson is still one of the best, but he's out. Garoppolo is fallen in a lot of
It's
people's
okay. He's
eyes.
fine.
Brady. Tannehill's been terrific too. We didn't mention
He's a good
Tannehill.
player. Yeah. Oh man, what a play! What a play!
I like the simplicity there for Wentz. And then yeah, that's it pretty much. There's definitely been like it feels like a leap though from some of these top quarterbacks for some of
massive
these other
leap.
guys. Like I didn't even mention I skipped past Matt Ryan. I didn't even bring up his name and think Matt
Yeah.
Ryan was a top 5 guy for almost
Couple
like
years.
10 years.
Not quite 10
If-
years, but yeah.
But like a lot like longer than you'd
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's true.
Live line is 2.5 right now for the Colts as favorites.
Nice play. Indy O-line's playing awesome. I like like those weird guys, those 6-yard runs where he just, it's the running back pushing the O-line in front of him. That's how you do it. You bust a bunch of 5-yard runs over and over and over again. You're going to win games. There's no way around it.
Congrats, Mud, on hitting that Heinz prop. That it's so nice to hit a prop like like before you're halfway through the first quarter and it already hit. That's nice.
This is oh my goodness. I
Nice
thought this
run from
guy
Heinz.
would I didn't really like him when he got drafted because I thought he's too small. He's not going to be able to do that. This is a big time NFL run.
But this is we feel this way about a lot of receiving backs. Like you see them play at the start of their NFL careers and they always just look terrible. Like they look so bad.
Look
and
at
then
Austin Eckler.
Yeah, well, Eckler was just a bomb from
He's
when
one
he
of the
started.
best all-around running backs in the league.
Yeah. I'm thinking of who was the guy on the Patriots who was like Super Bowl hero?
James White.
Yeah, James White was another one of those guys.
Chris Thompson, formerly of the Redskins.
Went from looking absolutely god-awful to probably
was
my
one of the
favorite
best
receiving back for
yeah.
at least a year until his injury took him down. Just catching up on chat here. I've just been going off on quarterbacks. Yeah, it sucks for Tua's like that injury. It just makes it tough for him.
Pittman could have ran Humphrey up the field. And Pittman too, like, what are you doing blocking like that? Humphrey even got the tackle on that screen. That was pathetic. So I like receivers that can block. Nice play, man. Now you got to stick it in, boys.
Unfortunately for Untouchable, I do have Jonathan Taylor in fantasy, so I think I passed him with that big touchdown. They just showed a close-up of Lamar Jackson looking Oh, big play here.
I don't know who got that.
It sure looks like the Ravens did, and
Marlon Humphrey got it. Man, you can't have that.
so that I didn't see what the live line was before that play, but I know at the start of the drive it was 2.5, so I could see them getting like to 3.5 there, and now the Ravens are minus 2.5, so that had like a 15-20% swing.
Dude, and then I like me and you always talk about the Ravens. Like, how do they get these guys? Like, always had an incredible season. He had the play that beat the Chiefs, and then he just does it again now. Like, because those plays you just said they're 15 to 20% plays, right? And how do the Ravens do it? They get pillaged every time. Who is it?
It's coaching. Like I'm so
It's crazy.
it's this sounds so like I'm probably swung too far the other way, but like I used to do, and Fat Guy too, we used to do a ton of player evaluation.
Yeah,
And like now,
doesn't
like
even matter.
it would take, there's certain players that really do account for a lot, but coaching is just so important. Coaching is so important.
And that's another thing too, is like a lot of the coaches that they get now, I think it's harder to find candidates that have that blend, right? You know what I mean? It's just got to be really tough. But then this is another thing, the owners, if they really wanted to win, there's no cap on spending in the front office or in coaching. So I mean, if you really want to, you can get somebody from anywhere, right?
Eric thinking that the Ravens are going to fall apart. It could happen. It's definitely a possibility.
What's fall apart? What does that even mean?
It means that right now they're full, and then they could come into pieces as this goes along. I had some lovely homemade chicken souvlaki for lunch. It was terrific.
It's great.
Yeah, Eric Fisher's been like, I guess he had a couple of like average years.
He had some good years with Kansas City.
He played well enough. He's never been like a superstar. It's just tough when you come in as was he the first overall pick?
Yeah, he was.
Like,
that draft really sucked though.
It did.
That draft really sucked. Really sucked. It was him, Luke Jokel, and Lane Johnson. They're the first tackles off the board. They might have been the first players off the board. And then Dion Jordan and Barkevius Mingo. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
that was a bad draft. I thought Luke Jokel was going to be the next big thing, and he wasn't.
Is he still playing?
No.
I saw a funny report today that teams are calling the Ravens for running back help.
Yeah, I found that funny.
25th fumble lost since 2016. Ouch.
Oh, that's cool, Mickey.
That's really, really cool, Mick.
I wonder if I knew someone like that, Mickey, I'd be so like selfish because I'd be asking them a billion questions because I'd be generally curious, especially a team like the Colts. You know what I mean? Like, obviously anybody. Like, I'd even be interested in someone who worked with the Jags or something. But
definitely soup compliments of my husband. So Eric's announcement is, from this day forward, being called a tout is a compliment. It states your comment could shift wagering. Tout is just a cheap way to scam people out of money. That's really all it is.
That's it. Even if you don't think you are, you are.
Brady expected to play Thursday. He injured his thumb on his throwing hand. That's not good for Brady. And the okay, I'm getting distracted by this. We got Tyson Williams in the backfield, who I believe was a healthy scratch last week. They're showing that like Lamar Jackson's improved as a passer, and he looks better than over the last few seasons, especially the start of his career. But at the same time, like, don't you think that a lot of that has to do with opportunity? Like, don't you think defenses are playing him differently and forcing him to get the ball down the field more so than maybe they did in the past?
I believe their backup's Blaine Gabbert, Mickey. And Zaps, I do remember that short week. Yeah, that was the biggest bet we made of the year. Was against the Bears. I remember that game. So
This Darius Leonard tackle was
oh,
excellent.
or maybe second biggest behind Washington football team at home to Dallas.
That
Holy
Leonard tackle was
smokes.
unreal.
Or even the
Holy.
pursuit because he pushed him into a corner.
I think it's Blaine.
Holy smoke. He got the tackle. Wow.
I'm pretty sure Fat Guy just said this, but I'm pretty sure it's Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert, and then they also have Kyle Rask. I don't know how to say his last name, but I doubt that. I'm guessing Gabbert's going to play
Kyle
before.
Trask. He's a rookie. They drafted him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm guessing. I don't think Trask is the official backup. Like, that team has too much at stake. Like, you'd really be throwing him to the wolves. Like, even though he has such a good core, like, the expectations are so high.
Yeah.
The Ravens are fortunate because this drive could have been happening at 14-0 if Indy put a stamp on their last drive.
What a run.
I think that was Marlon Mack that time
Yeah, it was.
getting the carry. This is the team you'd want to be calling for running back help.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. That's your backup, Marlon Mack.
Yeah, and then Jordan
That's your
Wilkins
backup.
is their fourth runner.
Yeah,
Like,
their
this
fourth
is I was just looking at it before. Like, talk about depth at running back.
Those are late round picks, except for I think Taylor was a second round pick.
Even like Marlon Mack, when healthy, has been unreal. Like, he's been like a legit, like, I hate to use fantasy, but like a legit top 10 fantasy running back when he's healthy. So,
Wow, end of the 10th. Yeah. Yeah, Taylor second, Wilkins fifth, Marlon Mack the fourth round, Naeem Hines fourth round. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You know, it doesn't mean they've hit on. I'm sure they drafted guys that haven't worked out either, but
well, it goes back to, like, you draft these guys and you coach them up. Like, how much discrepancy do you think there actually is between running backs that are drafted? Like,
oh man.
pretty much every guy is, some guys have a little bit more specialty in certain areas, but for the most part, like, so much of the, like, tight end, I feel, is the same way. Like, so much of it is being able to coach up players at that position to be able to play in the NFL. Running back, tight end, those have to be two of the tougher jobs to learn, like, to do properly, like, outside of quarterback. But after listening to Bill Belichick even talk about how difficult it is to be a long snapper, it makes me think that every single one of these guys is, I'm sure there's just such a huge learning curve for any position, really. I always remember listening to Frank Gore talk about like the intricacies of running certain plays, like zone type schemes. And just it's amazing how much you're looking for in such a brief amount of, like, what do plays last 3-4 seconds between the
Yeah.
tackles, and he's looking for like 8 or 9 different things. Live line is currently Ravens -2.5, but at +117. So I'm not sure what happened to make that line what it is, but here we are.
Yeah, and I think he's had an unlucky opportunity start, Jonathan Taylor John. In terms of this year, like the opportunities haven't been as ripe for him, which is, when they start playing like Jacksonville and stuff like that, you're gonna see it ramp up a little bit, I would imagine. I like their whole running back stable.
Well, it's the thing, like I've kind of advocated for, like, why don't you play some of your backup type guys at the start of the game when everybody's fresh, and then bring in your, you know, the star, you could say, or the most efficient runner while guys are a little more tired.
Well, that's a luxury too, right?
It is. I find it strange that more teams don't adopt that kind of stuff. Maybe more teams do it than I realize.
Good throw. Good throw. Good throw. Throwing that away was good. Cocktail waitress to sports personality. That's Kelly in Vegas. You got to be easy on the eyes if that's the job. Like, if you're going to be in the media for that. Good catch.
So what is the BetSports app all about?
Yeah, 21's so small, but that's still a good, even in a small sample, you want to see a positive, right? I don't understand, like, some emails you wrote to someone in private. I don't, whatever. That just seems bizarre to me. Like, watch what you say, I guess, with anybody, really. I
Well,
guess you can
it's
only,
the thing is like he's doing it with work emails. Like, there's places to be professional, places not. I disagree with like digging up stuff that's 10 years old, but at the same time, like, you got to
yeah, but I
be
don't
smarter
think it's
with
a
what you
work
say.
email because it was him it was the other guy's work email, not his.
Yeah.
He wasn't even coaching. It was Bruce Allen. Nice run.
Man, he was pretty fortunate actually to get wrapped up by Pernell
Yeah, he
McPhee.
got helped. Yeah. Yeah, I use bet stamps every day, Mickey. I follow some people too, so that's a nice play by that cornerback. Chuck Clark, good job.
That's interesting, like, to know, like, how much control the league has over who gets to be in these organizations. Because, like, if the league requires him to be fired and his contract's like a guaranteed whatever 100 million, like, who's
Yeah,
on
great.
who's
On the
paying
hook for that.
Yeah, because I'm guessing the league, it doesn't want to pay the like, what, 60 million left on his
It's
contract or
crazy.
whatever.
Yeah, but then they might be able to fire him with getting out of it somehow. Which is just crazy too. Like, I don't know.
I also want to know, like, how many emails did they have? Like, I think I saw they went through like 36,000 emails, something stupid. Like,
They
how
only
did they even find that? Because it wasn't like he didn't use like any derogatory terms. Like, unless there's like,
did. I guess technically he did. I don't know. It's just a crass, like, I don't know. Guys do that thing where you just talk a lot of shit to each other. I don't know. Like,
well, because I'm thinking, like, usually there's like an algorithm, right? Like, they'll throw in,
yeah,
50,
but not for that.
50 words. But that's what I mean. So someone went through and read.
Someone specifically went to get
36,000.
his.
Because it seems like
There's
it's
no
kind
other
of
way.
like you're targeting a guy at that point,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
That's what it feels
100%. It's
like.
all garbage.
Nice blitz off the edge here by Young. Wentz didn't see it coming. But that's what, like, you expect, like, you hope that quarterbacks can read this, or the offensive line and quarterbacks
No.
can work together to.
Not that guy.
Yeah, I guess not.
He can't get out of the way anyway, so what difference does it make?
Yeah.
This guy, on the other hand, can definitely get away.
Yeah.
It's better if you blitz him with a cornerback. Maybe not to get him, but to slow him up at least. You know what I mean?
It is interesting, though, to think about, like, if the end, like, I still can't get over this. Like, if the NFL says that a team has to fire an employee, especially such a high paid employee, like I don't get who's on the hook or what happens to that.
Well, they've done that with players. You know what I mean? Putting pressure on players.
Yeah, like, I guess we're seeing it right now with Watson. Like, the situation with Watson is different, though.
They're trying to the Texans are trying to get out of it. Like, they're trying to void his contract so they don't have to pay the money, right? New England had to pay out Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah,
that guy was a murderer. Like,
yeah, it's interesting, right? Like,
I think they changed the rules after, though. Because the Raiders got out of Antonio Brown scot-free, and he didn't. He did bad stuff. He didn't kill anybody.
He didn't do anything like that, though.
No.
I can't even remember what Brown did.
He took a swing at the general manager. He acted out a billion different ways, spoke to the media. He ejaculated on a woman's back twice. Things like that. Oh, yeah, he assaulted someone that transported some of his furniture and then didn't pay him.
I remember that one. That one was...
Oh, he threw his bike through the window of his gated community, like the... whatchamacallit, the guy that watches, like the security guard window.
Yeah. That's like when Patrick Kane beat up the cab driver for like 40 cents or whatever it was. Something stupid.
$10, yeah. Did he actually physically touch him?
Who? Kane?
Patrick Kane.
I'm pretty sure he, like... I don't know. I don't know what happened. It was a long time ago, but just...
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It's just dumb
Quote,
stuff.
Perry Caravello.
Yeah. John Stacy said, I'm sure there's contingencies in the separation clause in the fine print. Yeah, it's
It makes sense.
because I guess it'd be some
What a
sort of like
play.
breach of contract type of stuff, and then
Man, look how big. Who is that? That was Buckner. Holy.
it's like it's crazy they were able to get a player of like Buckner's quality through free agency. That had to be because San Fran just didn't have the money to keep him.
I don't think I think they made a choice because they got a first round pick and they didn't have to pay the money. That's like a
Oh,
double.
so it was a trade. For some
Yeah.
reason, oh, what a run by Jackson. For some reason, I thought he was just a free agent
No,
signing,
they got a
but
first round pick. That's how they
yeah,
drafted Brandon Ayuk.
then it makes sense. It's weird that you
I,
want to trade. You know, it's also weird. Like we always hype up like, oh, they got a first round pick or whatever, and then half the time like the guy ends up being garbage anyways.
but it's a chance, right? It's a good chance, right?
Yeah.
Like look at the Vikings. They traded Stephon Diggs from a first round pick. He was a fifth round pick, and they don't have to pay him. He makes $18 million a year. Now they pay Justin Jackson $4 million a year for the same performance, if not perhaps even better. That was a nice play. I can't believe Jackson got out of that. Nice, nice. That timing was really nice, dude. This seems like a for real effort right now from Jackson.
Well, as we talk about how he's like good at not taking damage, and it's like it feels like he's throwing himself out there for
A bit more.
yeah.
You know what he was like that the Buffalo playoff game and the Tennessee one, for that matter. He just had success in the Tennessee one.
Well, once in a while you gotta, if you feel like your team's not all the way there, you gotta kind of throw them on your back and lead by example. And what better way?
I guess you know what he probably did in the Kansas game too, more than I remember. Dude. Oh, he's on Patrick Ricard. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, he's probably Stephon Diggs' brother is. Oh man. Wow. Stephon Diggs' little brother is probably defensive player of the year right now. I think it's Trayvon Diggs.
They're
6
brothers?
interceptions. Yeah.
No, I didn't like it. This sounds so stupid because I don't know why I wouldn't think otherwise. But that's that guy's played.
Well, it's just worked out. Like it's just
Yeah, it
crazy.
is worked out.
6 interceptions in 5 games. I don't know how you wouldn't be the front runner there. There's a lot of guys with big sack totals this year too.
I think I heard Garrett was first, at least at some point, if not still.
Myles Garrett, I think so. Yeah. Which makes sense. He's been a really good first overall pick.
I had no idea either. I feel like there's. Let me pull this up because. For some reason, I thought he might have been related to Quandre Diggs. And for some reason, Stephon Diggs just completely like wasn't on my mind at all. But interesting.
Yeah.
Soon we're going to be talking about Trayvon Diggs, or Stephon Diggs is Trayvon Diggs' brother.
Oh, you know what song's on right now? That BMO commercial.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
I've set
it's
myself up for success over here by muting.
Yeah.
I'm just going to watch in silence. This live line's been like kind of wild because it just keeps flipping between 2.5 every time the other team gets the ball.
Oh, John Gruden's quitting? Yikes. Who takes his spot then?
More John Gruden emails reveal homophobic, misogynistic comments.
Oh my, did you really expect anything different? Who cares? So boring. So boring.
Yeah, and then
So boring. I hate that stuff more than anything. I'm just
and
gonna
then
enjoy the game. That'll make me mad all week.
Tom Pelissero said John Gruden just informed his staff that he plans to resign as Raiders coach. So, what's the
And if they had a microphone around my dad day to day, you'd lock him up forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just you can do anything. They're just older guys. It's how they talk. You riff. It's how you riff. You ever work like construction with guys? I've only done it for I only did for half a year when I was a teenager. You riff. It's what you do. That was nice.
I got a feeling they've got Greg Olson as the offensive coordinator and Gus Bradley as the D coordinator.
I bet you it's Greg Olson.
I was going to say I think Gus Bradley if they're going to go internally, but
yeah, but Olson's been with them that whole time. Bradley's a new hire. You might be right though. Bradley has experience, obviously, right? Greg Olson though, like, I feel like he's assistant head coach anyways, so it has to be one of those two guys. I would imagine though. I can't think of anyone else in that organization.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They're going to have to where are the Raiders aren't having a bad season, are they? Like I think they're what,
no,
3-2?
I think they had some run good. They beat some good teams. They beat Baltimore.
Yeah, they're 3-2.
Beat the Steelers. Not that Steelers are great.
The Chiefs are last in that division, surprisingly. I'm just seeing here. The Chiefs have allowed more points than the Jags.
Yeah, there's a big difference. So they can score a lot more points than the Jags.
Yeah, it's just still crazy to see how many points they've given up.
Mud, I'll take the under on whatever. I bet you he's done. This will be the nail in the coffin.
I guess it just depends how much money he's going to get.
There's no way. There's no way TV touches him. There's no way.
They'd have to wait a few years before they could bring him back.
I don't. I think it's done. He
Well,
might
right
get a
now
college
it's
job.
done.
That makes sense. I don't think he needs one though.
I'm thinking more like if he needs the money, that's when he's going to go back and start doing stuff.
I don't think he needs some money. That would be my guess.
Probably right. But that's why I'm curious how much of his contract he gets to.
10 million a year after everything. He probably keeps 5 million a year. Doesn't even know how to spend it.
Yeah.
You know, that's 20 million right there, just sitting there. He'll be fine.
He's more than welcome to join the BRFG YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah,
If you're
absolutely. I'll
looking
take
for,
him.
if you're looking for something just fun to do on the side, we can turn off monetization. It's not a big deal. We might even have to switch platforms. So as long as you guys don't mind using something other than YouTube. Man, this must hit Carl Nassib really hard. Well, like quitting and resigning, like it's just a formality at this point. Like they're just
I
letting
don't know
him
why, like,
go out on
yeah.
his sword. There's no way he just woke up today and said, "I'm going to resign today." Like he was told.
Yeah, whatever.
What did Marv Albert do?
They're talking about it. I don't know. It's boring. You get anybody with that. It's boring. I guess we can be Gruden grinders, eh? They better not go through anything I've ever said in the past then, even in jest. So
The real Gruden grinder is that chick that met up with Urban Meyer.
that's true.
I still think that's one of the funniest things I've heard in a while. That in Jacksonville at practices when they're breaking the huddle, they were yelling "grind." that's some next level trolling. At least those guys could have some fun with it.
Eric, you can definitely watch it on another channel. It's not going to happen. I don't know what reptile feeding has to do with football, to be honest. Or truck commercials for that matter, but I can get up to $3,000 in loyalty cash back.
The money line is pretty much split on the live line, and the OU's at 34.5, way down from the 46.5 at the start of the game.
You know, they probably went after Gruden. He insulted Roger Goodell a lot in those emails. That probably makes the most sense, I would imagine. Probably good. Probably where they got him.
Well, that's
looked up
probably
him.
where the league started forcing.
Yeah.
Either way, it happened. It's
over.
It's a lesson
Boring.
to be learned. I'm sure I'd have to go back and watch every single one, but I'm sure we probably said some things that weren't politically correct just in the
I 100% have.
just in our cold opens.
yeah, just those. Yeah.
But you know, we have a lot less at stake than
Absolutely.
Than Gruden does.
Yeah, they might fire me from my real job. I can't believe Seattle named their team the Kraken. I mean, that's cool. It's a good idea to get kids into hockey.
Why, you don't think Kraken's a good name? You
No,
think
I
it's
don't.
only
But
kid centric?
yes, I do.
So
Mind
what's a
you,
good name for Seattle?
they were gonna do the Emeralds. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, Emeralds is way cooler.
I 100% think it's cooler. It's Emerald City. It makes sense.
Totally. Yeah, that's true, Mickey. We're new age.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
we
yeah. We are new age, and we accept him for who he is. Yeah, he only got in trouble for breaking like the doxing thing. That's the only reason he got in trouble. It was not for any of the other comments. Just so funny.
I still don't get how it's 2021 and some players decide to run with the ball in their hand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw it with Trey Lance on the weekend. Sammy Watkins doing it.
But okay, Trey Lance, sure. Sammy Watkins has been in the league over 10 years.
Well, the other thing too is like as a quarterback, you can kind of get it maybe behind the line of scrimmage, but to do it out in the open field, it's such a way to hurt your team. Man, I just don't even believe that most guys don't even switch the ball to their other hand when they're running, like on the outside. But
Unless you had like a grip issue, like if you weren't nearly as strong on the other one, I could kind of see that. Patrick Ricard playing defense. Who do they have? Nikita Whitlock. That was the guy, the fullback with the spin move on the Giants.
I would just remember every single time he'd line up and he'd do that spin move, and like he'd
It
beat
worked.
guys. Yeah, like he beat guys way too many times for it to be like for me to be making fun of it.
It'd be funny if someone just let him spin and then just totally like laid him out. Like if they waited for like the rotation to come. Oh, nice hit. And he stays on his feet. Are they going to give him? He's getting up gingerly here.
Well, if this is the case, maybe I can get into comic books.
You can. That was a big shot, man. Yeah, I like it, man. From a cornerback, you never see that.
Yeah, Will Blackman.
Yeah, this guy's pumped on it, and he should be. And to not get unnecessary roughness for some garbage call like that, that's like a talent. That was a big shot. I like that. Watch him get fined next week because the guy got hurt. I like how the hit is only contingent if the guy got hurt or not. Like the legality of it.
Think about how that hit was so good. It took out a first down.
It took what, sorry?
Like he knocked him back 5 yards. He had 2 yards on a first down. Now it's gonna be 2nd and 3 or whatever down it is.
I'm surprised they didn't give him forward progress. I mean, I know it's a weird one. It doesn't really happen that way. Like credit to Sammy Watkins for even standing up. Like he took a shot.
I wonder what the odds were on Gruden to be the first coach fired, and then I wonder if because he resigned, if it counts as a firing. Like I could see the technicality of it.
Oh my god, one of the funniest comments and true things I've ever seen. I feel if guys blended, you'd be the comic store owner of The Simpsons.
That's pretty funny.
Probably. Probably.
Oh, Chappelle is just always going to be. Chappelle is never done what other people want him to do. He'll always do what he
Chappelle
wants.
is an independent contractor for the most part, though, and he's too big. You can get away with it, right?
Yeah.
There's more reasons too, I would imagine, but And he's a provocateur, so good on Chappelle, to be honest.
There's this new car commercial where the girl goes to sell her car online, and she meets this like wise guy who tries to like kind of like screw her out of the deal.
Swindler, yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely reminds me of if you and I had a kid. Like that's what our kid would be like.
What do you mean?
Well, because they had your suave,
Oh, the
your suave
swindler
style.
was me. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was really short and ugly, so that's
Oh
where
yeah,
I
yeah,
come
yeah.
in. Kind of like
Perfect.
he was like a Danny DeVito's from Twins kind of thing.
No. Oh yeah, Danny DeVito is a swindler in Twins. I thought you were gonna be. I thought what was the other one? Ruthless People. I think that's the other movie. He's a total swindler, scumbag. He
Yeah,
has a
and
change of heart though in Twins, at the end of the movie.
yeah, you know where he was really bad? Matilda.
Yeah, he was. He absolutely was. He was the narrator and the father that put wood chips in the used cars he bought and rolled back the odometer.
Josh Allen calling his shot. He says Raiders next coach and put a picture of Adam Gase. They should just bring Terrence Cody back to coach.
Art Shell, I'm sure he's alive. I'm actually gonna look now. I doubt it. Art Shell is still alive. Good for him. He's old though. 74. Tonight is your night, bro. Yeah. Yeah. I watched Twins, I think, a year ago. It's hard to see those two guys together. Yeah, I was wondering when Art Shell was in the Hall of Fame. Art Shell win a Super Bowl as a player? He must have. Yeah, 82 Raiders. He would have won 2. Wow. No, he would have won 3. 76. Did the Raiders win the Super Bowl? What was it? 76? 79, 82? That's 76 and 80. I thought they won 82. Guess they beat the Eagles in 76 and they beat the Redskins in 80. That's the thing I'm worried about, Mickey. Is like there has to be guys in the college ranks or like assistants that like, do you know what I mean? Like they just hold their tongue with their prospective teams that are actually built like Staley. That Brandon Staley should be the like what you should be looking for, what you should be hiring. I used to think it was McVay, but like there's too many times he doesn't like roll the dice. You know what I mean? He's too conservative.
Well, either way, like I think there has been good progression for younger coaches have had more success than kind of hiring, a guy that's maybe done it before. But like, I don't think the Raiders are gonna like for what Mickey. I agree with what Mickey said. Like,
Yeah.
the chances, I just don't see them being forward thinking. Like,
Yeah.
they brought in Mike Mayock at GM. And I think Mayock's done a fine job. Like I don't think it's been like terrific, but also I don't think it's been terrible. Like
I think they've missed on too many picks. They just have.
And did the Colts take a timeout here? They're just highlighting that Jackson missed an open Marquise Brown in the end zone. Bieniemy would be fine. Like the other guy that I keep hearing is it Joe Brady, who's the Carolina
Yeah, Joe Brady.
OC. I've heard his name thrown around with as a head coach, a coaching candidate. But I agree with Fat Guy. Like, there's got to be like coach. There's got to be some college coaches that could really make an impact and be
I don't know if
successful.
you even want college ones now that I think about it. Like, I think you want guys that have spent time in the NFL in some capacity, right? Not an ex head coach, like someone new, but Eric, I don't think it has anything to do with the Raiders because the Raiders aren't even investigating, right?
I just want to highlight this last play because the Colts took a timeout on the last play, and then Baltimore, even though it's like third or second and long, they decided to run the ball again, and I can almost guarantee you is to at least eat up a
Another
timeout.
timeout. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a smart move. Nice. The Colts, look at that. Look at that. Those two timeouts have really come into play. They've given themselves a nice chance to put points on the board. The Colts have.
They sure have. They hold the Ravens to 3, and they have more than enough time to at least drive for another 3 or a chance at 7. And the Colts get the ball to start the half.
And they really could have been up by more, the Colts, in this game.
Yeah, like ideally the Colts have dominated and they've left points on the board with that one turnover.
Absolutely, yeah.
Lions coach asked Gabe. I going into the season, I was really low on Dan Campbell, like really, really low. And to be honest, like watching the Lions games, like I don't think the Lions are like. I think they're getting as much as they can from their roster, which kind of reminds me of Miami that first year. Like I don't expect the Lions to win or be favored in any of these games,
Yeah, that's true.
but the Lions also have more talent than that Miami team did. Uh, like I feel like they're competitive, but I also don't feel like I like their chances of winning, or I don't think I like their chances of with Campbell moving forward. If Campbell surrounds himself with like really really strong assistants, then maybe, but I just don't. I don't know. I feel like they're playing like the right strategy and they're doing things that are productive and going to help them win, but they're just not all there, if that makes sense. How do you feel about the Lions coaching?
Um, they're getting like effort. Like that's nice to see. I just think that it's so unsophisticated that it doesn't matter. And that's why I have the haterade on for a lot of these old school type coaches. They're just not going to be as good as the new age, the Staleys and the Stefanskis. And to a degree, Harbaugh has at least changed. You know what I mean? Like Harbaugh has adapted to the times. He's one of the few ones. So
Looks like a free play here for the Colts. So if they decline, well, I guess they're going to probably accept because why would they take a 2nd and 5 when they can take a 1st and 5?
yeah, but that might be analytical in nature, Mickey, as well. Gabe, I think you need to start with you have to get A coach that doesn't really care about winning and losing, and a coach that cares about making the right decision and not being results based, which is draws a lot of corollary to gambling on sports in general. Is what this channel is about. So I think they have to get there, hire a coach like that, and also hire a GM like that to give more credence to that. The Browns hired Andrew Berry. He's a economics major from Harvard, right? Like they're going to make decisions that are less gut based and more data driven, right? That's the world we live in, and that I think football, the NFL as a whole, are giant laggards in terms of that. You know, who might actually, I think, um, uh, deserve a chance? Lane Kiffin again. He has NFL experience. He failed miserably, but I mean, considering some of the things that Mickey's told me about his decision making now in college, I think that has a place in the NFL, and I think it does. Stefanski and Staley, the two best, in my opinion, right?
And for a franchise like Detroit that's just been so bad for so long, like it's top down. Like it starts with ownership. It's about ownership getting the right guys in the building, and those guys, it trickles down, and
maybe invest some money in the front office, right?
Yeah.
Which would start with ownership. There's no cap on what you spend on coaching or the front office. So if you want to gain a competitive advantage against a team, that's one way to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily spending more money is going to generate better results, but it's a better chance. Let's put it that way, right? You're going to attract better candidates.
Eric asking, can the Jets be saved? Of course, like every team and franchise can be saved. They've got a good quarterback. Saleh is an interesting coach. And I feel like defensively they've actually been pretty good considering how bad that offense has been.
They're a bad team.
Yeah,
they're a bad team.
They're very bad, like very bad on offense.
They're very bad.
The thing with it kind of reminds me of the Chiefs, like before Andy Reid came, where they've got the talent and the coaching, I believe, defensively to get it done, and their job's like 10 times harder because the offense is turning the ball over. They can't stay on the field, and it makes it 10 times tougher on the defense. So I think they have potential moving forward, but they're going to have to bring in, maybe a different offensive mind, and as well as they're just going to have to draft a lot more talent on the offensive side of the ball, and most of that is offensive line driven.
I agree, Gabe. It would be nice to see someone more competitive. I mean, but you got to remember that the NFL isn't built like the MLB. It is possible, right? Like New England Patriots, they weren't a big franchise really up until recently. So it's doable. Like it really, really is doable. Like the Patriots only became a legacy team in the last 20 years. They had no Super Bowl wins, only 2 appearances up until Brady and Belichick, right? They weren't nearly regarded in that tier. Now they're a legacy team. They're worth way more money. And so, yeah, you got to invest money to make money. And you have to get lucky, too, with some of these hires, right? And we're writing home about Brandon Staley, and it's 5 games in. But I like the decision-making. Even if he was 0-5, I would be saying the same thing if I saw it. If you're attempting to win, there's something about that I like.
The other thing to say, like Herbert's been excellent. Like Herbert's been so
Absolutely.
good, and he was good before Staley got there. So like, it really helps having one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. Like
it's been elevated though.
For success.
Like he was a offensive rookie of the year last year, but it wasn't like
MVP,
a groundbreaking year.
Ten seconds left. Colts still have their only timeout. Oh man, they kind of get jagged there. It doesn't matter anyways. There's 3 seconds left. They're gonna have to use their timeout either way. And Colts are gonna get a chance to put 3 points on the board. Sorry, Gabe. I'm not able to comment on the Big Ten because
Yeah.
I don't follow college ball that closely. And then the other thing I'd say, like, no matter how good a college team looks and how bad an NFL team looks, it's always going to be a double digit favorite.
Yeah.
Like every single time. Like, just how many? Do they get another chance at this kick because that guy jumped, or how does this
There's a
work?
flag. It looks like it. That's good. What? Blankenship's coming on now. How weird is this?
Did they have somebody else?
Yeah, Rigoberto Sanchez.
Is Sanchez the punter?
If someone could lip read um, John Harbaugh right now, that would be interesting. Wow.
He's got to be mad like at Humphrey there because there wasn't like it was a pretty clear.
And it's good.
Well, puts the Colts up 7 in that.
Holy, he's losing his mind.
In fact, I'm just going to be back in 2 minutes.
You
I'm
got
going to
it,
go to the
sir.
bathroom.
Oh, Gabe, you know what, man? That's probably the nicest compliment I could get, Gabe. Because like I do that with other people, and I like it almost is personal. Do you know what I mean? Like you kind of feel like you know the person doing that, and the idea that someone's listening to me talk about it, that's like the greatest compliment I could get when I know that other guys are listening to what I'm saying. Not because I'm right or wrong, but because it puts worth into what I'm doing, right? Because obviously we don't make a lot of money doing that, and that's never really the idea behind it. But like this puts like work behind the or worth into the effort. I really appreciate that. We're talking about the John Gruden thing, and it's annoying me. Like it's just boring. Talk about the game, but I guess this is like this is like male soap opera, right? So I guess right. Yeah, yeah, Josh, that would look good. Yeah, Eric, but I'm not really like not trying to give people advice on like who to pick if you really listen to it. Like a lot of the stuff I talk about, the idea is to try and assist in decision making and gambling. Like I gamble for a living and I have for more or less a really long time, even if I had a side job that was 6 hours a week, right? Which I no longer have. So it's, maybe I don't do that now, but gambling has been a big part of my life since I was a teenager. I'm in my 30s now. So I like to think that I have a good idea in terms of decision making, but it always improves too. There's so much stuff I don't know, I don't get, but we do kind of learn together, right? So I don't like the pick video. People highlight and hate the picks. That's not really the point of it. The point is to introduce ideas and ways of thinking, right? Because it isn't really financial advice, right? That's why we have a contest. It's fun. You know what I mean? Like, and it's evolved, right? Like, before I used to, like care more about the picks, and I do care about them, but I care about the information behind them a lot. They aren't this bad, Jamie. They aren't. It's going to be harder to make the playoffs now, but stay strong, my friend.'re not bad. Yeah, Gabe. Here's a funny thing. Now I sound like I'm hawking a little bit. We do have a membership, Gabe. It's $5 a month, and Big Rye does market videos before all the primetime games, just about. And I do a video once a week on things like bankroll management. I did a whole video on it, right? And it'll give you some ideas, because but also too, things like bankroll management come down to personal responsibility, right? Like if you bet bigger and bigger, the only way it's going to end up is losing. That's it. Eric, very interesting. Is gambling part of Greek culture? I have talked to those that say it is. It absolutely is. I'm Greek. My father is about as Greek as they get. We grew up that way. It's actually, religiously, it's good luck to gamble on Christmas and New Year's, which is really weird. So like I've been playing poker with my family since I was 12, more or less. And then look, now I play pretty high stakes poker now. So it's just, I don't know what it is. The wildest gamblers ever, a Greek. Yeah, look up Archie Karras. He's the guy that turned $50 into 40 million. He's a Greek guy. Or Nick the Greek Dandalos made $1 billion. So yeah, Gabe, we only charge $5 because the whole point is like we have to charge something, really. And that's just like you have to make like the smallest barrier to entry. It's kind of like when people go to a comedy show, you have to have a door charge because you want people to want to be there. Do you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, right? So yeah, that's what we do. And also too, I take requests for those videos, because we're trying to build a library of ideas. So I did one on middling plays this week, and it's so weird. Like I don't remember a year I've been ever this busy. Yeah, Mickey's got it. Mathematics is part of Greek culture. Gambling is mathematics. Absolutely. 100%. So, my dad's in his 70s and he gambles every day now. A lot smaller than he used to, though. That's great to hear, John. It's really, really good. Because that's our main goal, is just to try and help people make slightly better decisions. Because I don't like that the government or whomever makes money, preying on people betting Keno or parlays or things like that. So like you can still do that for entertainment, but for people who are trying to make a go of it, we want to give them the best information possible.
I can't believe I went to the bathroom and I missed out on bankroll management talk. Like the one thing I get off of in this world, and you guys decide to talk about it when I leave. Yeah. This is disgusting. I expect
you're acting like that's a joke, though. That's the funniest thing.
It's not. This is serious. I don't mess around.
And just so you know, guys, I've had to learn bankroll management lessons a whole hell of a lot more times than Big Rye. Just so you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lost it all gambling a couple times here, and that's that's the honest truth. It's been a lot better. That's a great Gabe. That's a great question. I I I have bet lots of tennis, and for I can't get into exactly how over the stream, but I bet lots, and I bet lots of money on tennis, and I'm learning it right now. So tennis is my back burner project. I'm just collecting data on it. So so yeah, I'm very interested in that. I think there's a lot. Esports charges the highest rake, I think, oddly enough. I just learned a little bit about it. Like they have 25-cent lines and 20-cent lines, really tough to beat. But I'm sure, I bet you there's a lot of cheating in esports too. But there is cheating in tennis, believe it or not, as well. Like people throwing matches and stuff. You can tell by how lines shift and stuff like that. So, anyways, tennis is definitely there'll be tennis content coming out for me. I would say within about a year though. That's how long it'll take. I like tennis though, and I think it's really interesting. Another thing I like about tennis is I like sports that don't have a time limit. Like you just have to beat the person. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's a lot easier to quantify. Baseball is like that, but I think baseball is completely beaten by the book. I don't think there's a way to beat baseball all year round. Like I don't think you could bet the playoffs long term and win money. I don't think you can. That's really what I believe. And baseball is a sport.
He's talking about like the average player. Like if there's 1,000 of us that bet baseball, like 965 of us are going to lose. Is pretty much what he's trying to say.
I think it's higher than that.
Yeah,
I think it's out of 10,000, 9,999 are going to lose long term betting baseball in late season. That's what I think.
So it just shows you how hard it can be.
I think it's the most efficient market in the world. Well, think about it this way: the sports book, every sports book, their lowest commission, their lowest hold is on baseball. Why? If you have that low of a margin, that must mean that like you have like guaranteed edge almost, right?
Yeah, you're definitely trying to encourage action with that.
Absolutely, right?
With the low juice.
Whereas like esports, like you'd mentioned, it's minus 120 on both sides. What does that tell me? They don't know anything. You know what I mean? They're trying to shield themselves.
I know Pinnacle spends a lot of times with esports, probably more than any other book, if I had to guess. Yeah. And the higher the lines are, the more opportunity there is
Absolutely.
going to be, which is really what he's trying to get at. Fat guy, I don't know if I want to comment on that, but I haven't been betting any of the major sports too seriously. I've bet all of them at different points. And him and I are doing a ton of work in the background to hopefully help people out and give some, at least the betting market data on what it's been like over the last season and so like it's just how much we can keep up with. So that's something I'm really looking forward to adding to the membership. But then the other thing, Eric, it's like bankroll management is there for a reason. Like it's not something you just like throw on when you want to and take off when you don't want to. Like it's something that you have to be consistent with all the time, or else.
If you care about winning, if you want to have a good time, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? But the reason that there is a market for sharps and the reason people that take this seriously win money year after year is because they're not cowboys, right? They want you to make mistakes to allow for mispricings.
And there was a year, we say this because there was a year where Fat Guy and I were just absolutely killing it. Like we were like 60% against the spread as far as betting goes. And we had a pretty healthy unit size. And we went, man, if we're playing this, like if we're this good, like we got to raise our units. All of a sudden we started losing pretty much every game.
We regressed to the mean.
And
so
like,
we ended up.
You lose that money. What'll happen is you'll make, 20, 30, 40% more than what you started with. And then all of a sudden, like you can lose that in like 2 weeks. Like it doesn't take long at all. Like
it doesn't.
It takes, you can spend 8, 9, 10 weeks building up this bankroll and having a lot of success. And
to think that down the toilet in 2 weeks.
Yeah. To think that we were doing anything special to hit at 60%, like him and I were crazy. We were wrong. We had good variance and we decided, okay, at the top of our variance, let's increase our
Yeah,
unit
yeah, yeah.
sizing, and
Genius
we ended
idea,
up.
boys.
I'm pretty sure.
That's the worst mistake. One of the worst mistakes we've ever made.
Yeah, like I think if you could look at our betting, like at the bets we made, we were like 57% that year, which is crazy good, but we only made return like it was like that we went like
Yeah.
51.5% type of thing.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
was
yeah, exactly.
it like bankroll management is super super important. There's different strategies that you can go with depending on a lot of things. Or like I'm very conservative in what I tell other people because a lot of people aren't willing to put in the work that you would actually need to do, nor really should you with how much work it is to properly use Kelly criterion to its full capacity, because most of us don't have a bankroll to start out with that's big enough for it to even matter. Like it ends up being a huge time sink if you want to do like handicapping style betting with Kelly criterion and knowing your exact edge. It's a lot. Like it's a lot, and it's not something I would say to a casual bettor. And like I'm even putting Fat Guy and I into that casual betting spot where it's not like life or death every bet. Like it ends up being a lot of work for something that's very risky, and there's other things you can do with your money at that point that are a lot less work and a lot less risky.
Yeah, but then I also disagree with that to a point. I think the stock market can be just as risky, if not more, right?
Well, it's not even just the stock market. There's
Yeah.
plenty of other investment opportunities that you can make in this world other than sports betting that are going to be a lot safer and a lot more return for a lot less work. So like if you think, oh, I want to bet sports because it's easy and I don't have to work like do any
that's
work
not
and
true.
stuff, like it's so far from the truth. The guys that are really really good at this, like they dedicate their entire lives.
Yeah.
And you know, I put a lot of work into this and I'm still very very casual compared to like the big players.
That is a crazy catch.
Holy.
I hope they don't call offensive pass interference.
Michael Pittman just went beast mode on that play. Holy smokes. The Raven fans can't even believe what they saw. What's this flag on? It's definitely on. It's definitely on the Ravens because the live line just pushed up to 5.5.
Nice. Okay. I gotta ask the Gabe. Do I think the foreign betting markets are ridden with corruption, teams, coaches, players? No, not really. But like, you're more likely to get it in like Italian soccer. What's another good one?
Well, the smaller the
Eastern
market,
European soccer and stuff like that. That does happen.
the smaller the market, the easier it is to cheat.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it really comes down to what would you need to do to like influence a game, because usually it's going to be some sort of like cash like bribe, and most of us don't make anywhere near close to what an NFL player makes. So think about how much money you'd have to pay an NFL player to do something like that. It doesn't make any sense. The same thing would go with most like major league, like you just mentioned, like Italian soccer, like the top level, that probably doesn't happen. Maybe well, I'm sure it does happen, but statistically speaking, like if we're going to make a prediction on where there's cheating, where there's not cheating, stuff that's a lot smaller, stuff that's like one
generally
player,
speaking, yeah.
like if it's like a 200th ranked tennis player, maybe you can get them to throw a match. You know, that's more likely than it is getting you know, a guy to cheat in Serie A or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's
Serie A is the only anomaly where like the three biggest teams were cheating. Like like Juventus was tying games on purpose. It's the only big league that actually happened. You know, that like in EPL, I don't think that would happen, because I actually in EPL in particular, if you're the stakes are too high. If you're a team that gets relegated, you lose your team could lose potentially hundreds of millions of dollars in terms of value because they're not in the Premiership, right? Like that's a big deal. Whereas in Italy, I don't think it's as it's quite the same thing. And they have, organized crime in Italy. That's just obviously an issue. So
Well,
they're the only anomaly. Like Big Rye said, the more, like college basketball, some of those obscure schools, I could see that happening too.
There's
Especially a
150
team that's
games some
favored.
days.
Yeah.
There's 300 teams, 150 games some days. Like, how are you supposed to set lines on 150 games and track, what's being
the nuances
done?
of each of those, right?
Yeah,
and the
it's
information,
impossible.
even now in today's world, is pretty tough to get in college basketball, right? Like, you might know who's starting and what have you. You don't know those players, what they are. They're unpaid athletes.
John asked an interesting question, and so for my unit sizes, like right now, I am up. I want to say I think it's like 28%, and those were units that I decided to start using at the start of the last NFL season. So we're like a year and almost a half away. I'm up 28%, and I'm still using unit sizes as to what I put at the start. Because what'll happen now is if I change my unit size now, like I'm having success. If I change my unit size now, and I'm not, and if I don't do as well as I've been doing, I'm going to lose that money even faster. That's one of the things about Kelly Criterion that Fat Guy and I just have a tough time with and disagree with, because if you do well, it just tells you to bet more, which just means you're more likely to lose more.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you start losing and your bankroll's negative, should you start betting less at that point? And then if you do hit
hurt by the wave,
you get hurt on the wave either way. So it's
which is bad.
Like, I'd say just be consistent.
Well, season to season, that's easy. If you bet one sport, figure out what your edge was if you had one, and if you did, then use that with the current bankroll that you have for the following season, and then stick with it the entire year. So, Gabe, who's stopping the players from getting friends to bet the lines? Here's a funny thing: the players often don't know anything. You know what I mean? They're not throwing games. Like, here's a good example. I know a guy that knows a few players from a certain, from Canadian football, and I've taken his bets. And like the player doesn't know what's going to happen when there's all these moving parts. You know what I mean? Unless it's the quarterback, but the quarterback's never going to risk a huge salary and going to jail. Like, think of what it would take to bribe an NFL quarterback. Like, the price should be $20 million, which you could never bet on a game anyways, right? Like I'm sure they do give them. I'm sure you could give someone a tip like, okay, we don't look good in practice this week or something like that, and maybe that does happen, but I don't think it's going to affect the market anyways, right? It's harder to get money down than you would think, and how much of that edge is quantifiable? I don't even know. How valuable is it? Who knows, right? Like, a guy bet with me on a CFL game, and his friends are skill position players on the team, and his friends told him to bet the over. Well, bet the over? They're trying to score points anyways. You know what I mean? There's no special information that they're going to score more points. That's their job, right?
Yeah, Mickey brings up a good point.
It would take blackmail. Absolutely.
Blackmail is like the best way to go, and that's just such a shitty way of doing anything in your life.
And anyways, people are going down for that. Yeah. I don't even want to get into it, but And by the way, against that guy, I have a perfect record in CFL games. So it really worked out for him.
And even if you were to like bribe or blackmail whatever a player, like in the NFL, that player could get hurt and they might have zero impact on that game.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
and which players do, even like the guys that could impact the game are kickers, long snappers, and quarterbacks. James Prochet? I don't know that guy. That's a nice ball.
For the most part, I haven't been doing like the market that I've been focusing on the most is NFL and spreads. And Fat Guy and I collectively, that's the most time we spent together is working on those two things. There's huge opportunity and like the smaller the market, the more opportunity there is. Like, you're going to get lower lower amount
Big
of
sack here.
totals to bet with, meaning like you're not going to be able to get as much money down on some of those markets. But like, for instance, if you just wanted to follow like throwing attempt props for college football game, like whatever the wildest,
yeah,
you can specialize in certain
WNBA.
things. Yeah, like WNBA probably has a ton of opportunity.
Yeah,
and the markets are a lot smaller.
Let me clarify something here though. Big Rise says the limits are low, and they are comparatively though. This is a lot of people that are subscribing to us. We're the little men, even us. Like, I bet I'll bet fairly healthy, but it's still like, even if you bet $1,000 a game, that's not that big in the grand scheme of things. So when we talk low limits, that's like $500 a game, which you need a bankroll of roughly 50,000 to pull that off, right? So there's actually an advantage to the little guy in specialization, right? Because a guy, okay, say a pro that bets, you know what I mean, 4,000, 5,000 a game, okay? It's his expected value. Say he busts out 10%, so he makes or 2% rather, so he makes about $100 a game. Oh man, hold, huge hold. No way they didn't call it. Oh my god, he's still going. This is unreal.
Here's an example of if you wanted to bet, like the Eagles Bucks play on Thursday. And if I wanted to bet the spread right now, the max I could put down is $6,200. But if I wanted to bet the Eagles points odd even, the most I could put down is $686. So I can put down 10 times the amount on a spread bet as compared to one of these alternate bets. And at the same token of that, the juice is higher on that lower total.
What does that tell you in that is they have to charge a higher commission and a lower limit. They're afraid. But what does that mean for the little guy, the guy who has less than 20,000 as bankroll? That little guy can beat him. You know what I mean? It's an awesome perfect storm. The wealthy guy is actually hurt by the book, right? And the other thing too is the little guy, in a weird way, is going to enhance the book. At least, okay, books that use the American model of bookmaking. There's two styles. There's the European style where they just kick off people that win even small amounts, and then there's the American style, choosing books that, or the offshore style, choosing books that they accept winners, but they use their data to kind of figure out where they're getting an edge, and then they try and then they use that information to sharpen their lines going forward. That's why Pinnacle is the best sports book in the world. It just is, right? But even they limit people on props too, because they're guys that smash props, right? And most of those props, like Big Ride mentioned, 620. You only bet around $500, but hey, if your bankroll is $20,000 or even 10,000, if your bankroll's $1,000, and you bet $10 a unit, you can still have a really healthy ROI, because that's what I care about too. Someone could tell me, oh, I made $50,000. Yeah, but you bet 30 million over the year. Big deal, right? The guy who has the strong ROI over a long period, a guy who has a high ROI over a large sample, then that's, you know what I mean? That's impressive. And Gabe, if you're excluded on Pinnacle to Ferry 22, if you want to have a go at it, I would just take that as an opportunity to, you could virtually bet for free, you know what I mean? And keep track of it that way. And then also too, you have over a year, or not a year, you got months to learn as much as you can and build a strong database if you like. So it is what it is. Pinnacle not available in the States. Yeah, Mickey, that's like the only drawback, but Pinnacle should be, their closing line is the gold standard. It just is. Rich Bisaccia expected to replace. I think Jamie said that. 888 has really bad odds, Gabe. So you want a multitude of books. Check out there's one called Heritage. and they have 0 transaction fees and the earliest NFL lines if you use Bitcoin. And if you live in Canada, Gabe, use ShakePay, and it's probably the best way to buy Bitcoin. Not financial advice, but I'm just letting you know what the options are. Why are they talking mid-game about John Gruden? Come on.
That's what I hate. Like, so much of stuff is about the drama, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
just want to watch the
garbage.
game.
It'd be one thing if the Raiders are playing. They're not. They're not even in the division of any of these teams. Yeah, the ID login stuff does suck. I'll give you that. But yeah, I don't care about the interface as long as I get the number right.
The thing also that we've noticed with how we've kind of adjusted our weekly pick video is that Heritage has had some very, very poorly put out opening lines, and there's a lot of advantage that you can get from getting very nice opening lines. Like, that's also as far as betting NFL spreads, where you're going to get a lot of advantage is just finding those huge discrepancies. Like they had Seattle -2.5, and I think Pittsburgh's already like -3.5 or -4. Like, that's so much value to get.
Oh yeah, yeah, Gabe. The ones I tend to bet on are are on my desktop. Like, I only make the bets on my desktop too. So it's the mobile friendly ones are the ones that tend to have the worst lines. Like Bet365 has the best like live odds setup of any of them. The odds are terrible, but I have to give them credit. It's really, really well done. I screen record all the tennis matches that I can. So I have like half a terabyte right now of tennis matches for live odds. At mobile stuff, Gabe, probably. Yeah, I don't like their lines. I don't like their website. I don't like how they run their business, but they're, as far as if you're looking at technologically savvy interface, that probably is it.
And I don't have enough experience to say this, but I would have to guess that DraftKings is probably the best mobile.
Oh
But
yeah,
at the
I didn't
same
even think
time,
about that.
like, I haven't used, I haven't used. I'm just guessing because DraftKings had such a rise, such a rise in popularity that I have a feeling mobile friendly is probably one of their things. But they also offer just terrible juice.
Yeah,
But they do
much
have.
like Bet365.
I have heard a lot of people say they have pretty decent promotions. So promotions are another thing to take advantage
That's a
of.
hold too by Andrews.
Really nice hit there.
And speaking of Bet365, check out um, check out how much the CEO makes a year. It's the highest salary in the world for CEO. So that'll give you an idea of how well they're doing. Bodog's a guy from our neck of the woods, Calvin Ayre, international criminal. That movie Runner Runner is about him. Is that false start or offside?
I believe it's a false start. Like the right tackle jumped. Tony hoping for a Lamar Jackson rushing touchdown.
That's not going to help. Oh, that's way false start. I didn't see him move for some reason. Total mirage for me. I just saw the other player in the backfield so fast. Devin Duvernay.
That was a very fortunate play for a Lamar Jackson rushing touchdown. The odds just improved.
That's a nice play.
This looks like a Lamar Murray run.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Are you serious?
Holy.
Dude, the lateral play to a DB, that's how you do it.
That
Oh,
DB
man.
also outran Lamar Jackson and Marquise Brown.
Chester Rogers, two of the fastest guys in the league.
It kind of looked like Jackson was down, but I want to see this replay because the angle was weird.
I don't know, man.
Oh, it's really close.
Oh, it's out.
It's
It's
so
totally out.
close. You think it's out? I didn't get to
I
see.
think
I
it's
was looking
out.
at the
Look at his
comments.
hands. They're around it, but they're not gripping it. I don't know how
So
you call that back. But anything's possible. I think that's out.
it looks out because ball's sliding around in his hand as he's going to the ground.
Dude, this Leonard play is so sick. He knows I can't make it. I can't make it.
Well, the other thing too, it made me think that the guy was like, "Give me the fucking ball."
Yeah, well, probably. But you got a jet engine right to your left, and
Yeah.
you're in a horse and wagon. Like, you might as well. I love stuff like that. Why don't they do the hook and ladder play?
I love what Sean said. He took a bribe.
Yeah, he looks bad. Yeah.
Leonard with the heads up play. Tony said it's close. It is. It is close. Gabe saying they used to do MMA on the beach was super interesting. Talking about Bodog.
Yeah.
So Bodog had like its own MMA.
Yeah, they did.
That's interesting. How would you
they
like
had
talk about insider info when setting those lines, huh?
yeah. They had I think they had big time, like they focused more on getting women talent like early, because I think Cyborg fought in a couple of those when she was the most heralded female fighter in the world.
Also, if you want to get people to watch fights, nicknaming people like Cyborg is definitely the way to go.
Well, I think it's because she's related to there's another guy named Cyborg Santos, a male fighter. He's the guy that got his head crushed by Michael Venom Page. That was a sick lateral, is right. Holy.
If this stands and this counts as a Colts touchdown, you got to feel pretty good at plus 7.5 right now. That's my guess.
He fumbled intentionally.
Sean says the fix is
highly
in.
doubt it.
Think about like how much is at stake for an NFL player to throw a game, especially like Lamar Jackson. Like how much money?
$150 million contract.
How much money is that guy worth? Like what's his career earnings projection?
200 million.
Yeah.
The American government will get 100. He'll get the rest less everything, so he'll end up with 40. Yeah, Evander Kane might have gambled on games. He probably did, but I don't think it made an effect on him, right? Like, and if he did gamble on games, he obviously didn't do very well. Like, he filed for bankruptcy.
Well, the tough part is just the fact that they have insider info. Like I know that in Vegas, you're technically not allowed to make bets if you're part of any college like coaching staff or anything like that.
That should be the rule. I would happily take Evander Kane's action, assuming he paid up front. He would not be a credit player.
They're still reviewing this play. Also, one of the games, it was the Cowboys game, they ran a play before the TV timeout was finished for a touchdown on 4th down. And even Joe Buck was like, I don't know what to tell you guys. They just ran this play. Evander Kane is a NHL player who was caught betting on games.
Well, betting, he was gambling on a lot of stuff. I think it's close but clear to me.
So judging
They
by the
called the
reaction,
lateral an illegal forward pass. They called the lateral
what?
an illegal forward pass. So it's Indy ball, but maybe that's why they're taking so long. I want to see this. Are they joking?
It's tough because he's behind him and he reaches the ball out, but they're moving so fast forward. It looks
Are they
backwards from that
joking?
angle. That sure didn't look like it was forward, so they got jagged there.
Oh my goodness. Whatever. At least they got the ball back. That's lame. Nice play, Colts. Well, the market does, Gabe. Like anything. Like you have market data, you have a good idea. So it's you know what I mean? Like the price of spaghetti is what people will pay for it. You know what I mean? And what the producer can put out and make a profit on, right? So it's the same thing. The market sets the line for the most part, and past market data, right? It just in some instances they're just way off. It just does happen. Nice run, man. Wow. And this is the Colts team I wanted to see all week. Or I mean all year rather. Yeah, the refs having the under makes a lot more sense. Dude, how are they running this easy on the Baltimore Ravens?
They're getting it done.
Man, they're getting it done. I want to see them play Tennessee.
Like Indy, Tennessee.
Yeah. Did they already play?
Let's take a look because I want to say yeah, but like what my memory doesn't matter for squat. Yeah, they played 2 weeks ago.
And
Titans
Tennessee
won
beat them.
by 9 at home.
Even that was good. I like the symmetry of 16 games, but I guess it gives one more week of opportunity.
It makes the league more money, so any way they can get more games, they're gonna do it. Which I kind of like how little games are played in the NFL because they mean more. Not that like adding
Yeah.
one more game is gonna mean much of a difference, but
Wow. Man, this offense is playing awesome. Yeah, I like the symmetry of the 16 game season. Kind of wrecks it, but I mean, whatever.
it's funny how like don't change the schedule because of symmetry just seems like such a weird.
A stupid thing, but it makes sense to me. It makes everything lines up. I like less teams in the playoffs. It means something more to me. I hate the NHL's model. But you have to over half the league gets in the playoffs. What like it just seems hokey. Man, Man, holy, they bullied them. I think every defense gets tired. And when a team runs all over you and has the ball for a long percentage of the time.
Well, look at the Browns Chargers game and how that worked out. Interesting formation there.
That is just great. Nice. And we go for 2 here. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Well, that's fine. If he got 2 points, that would have been really lame. Does that count as a fantasy interception?
I don't know. Sean, I wouldn't get like too high or too low. They've played what? 30 plays. Like they've come out, they haven't been successful on those plays, and they're getting beat. That's kind of it.
Right, you lose.
Like don't get too high, too low on any result.
Like, remember all the lines that came out after the Packers got destroyed by New Orleans?
Yeah.
Now no one cares.
Yeah.
They're doing that. Oh, Aaron did that on purpose. Yeah, right.
When's the last time anyone had a perfect week in the contest? Y'all should pony up some coin for the next person that does it.
I'd be willing to do that.
No one's ever gone perfect in the contest.
No. Our best
even in a
14-2.
Yeah, even in well, I shouldn't say that. People have gone like 4-0 in the playoffs. But in like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 game samples, no one's ever gone perfect. It's so hard. Like it's statistically very, very difficult. Someone will eventually do it. It's just so unlikely, right? You're flipping a coin 16 times.
Yeah.
Picking the right one.
What is it? It's 1/2 to the power of 16.
Yeah. It's very unlikely. That's why, like, when you do the math on what that is, and then you see what you get paid out on a 16-game parlay, It's a joke. Like, Keno's the best one. Like, what I always bring this up because,
I'll happily repeat it.
Yeah. So what's the what are the odds
in British Columbia for a 10 for 10 numbers on a 10 number ticket? They'll pay you 200,000 to 1, up to a maximum payout of $200,000, but the true odds are 1 in 8.6 million.
So 1 in 8.6 million, and they'll pay you $200,000 for a 1 in 8.6 million. That's just absolutely insane. Like, it's absolutely insane.
So Zaps, I think it'd be easier to go perfect since you guys are very early look headlines that aren't most efficient markets. 100%, but it's still really, really difficult regardless. But it is easier. I'm not, Eric. I don't. It's like winning the lottery. Well, not quite that. It might be actually.
Well, there isn't that many entries into the contest. Like, I think we're getting right now like anywhere from like 50 to 80 entries into the contest. So for any one of those people to go perfect, it's unlikely. And John, 0-9 is like, it's hard to do. Like, it's hard to be on either end of that. And pretty much everyone's going to be 5 or 4 or 5. And Zaps, you're technically right. It is easier to go perfect than to go not perfect, because you can just take the better side of every line. And Mickey said, Big Rye, I felt like the money percentages were too close to 50-50 to be a real factor. That's what made me pull the trigger. And I love that thinking, Mickey. I think there's nothing wrong with it. There's like even all the percentage stuff that I bring up, like sometimes it's to say, okay, there's not enough data here, or it's, too close to 50-50. Let's just throw that one out. Yeah, it makes it even harder if you're going to do it on the Sunday morning lines. Thought I could boost weekly entries too. Yeah, we're not too worried about getting more entries. Like, the contest is more fun for all of us to do at this point. And like, it's some bragging rights and you get your name mentioned in the video. But like,
It's
our
interactive.
focus, yeah, it's interactive. Our focus really is on the membership, getting people signed up and being able to do more membership type stuff. Like, as far
Spend more
as
time on that type of stuff.
yeah, like those the betting markets, I can tell you guys right now, that's been the most interesting thing I think most people have found so far. Like, from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., like before the early games, Pacific time for us, like pretty much every person is online on the Discord checking what those markets are. Like, I can tell that value is there, because even if people don't use it, they're at least taking a look to see, like, okay, maybe it helps them decide, like, yeah, this is a decision I'm going to make. Maybe it helps people from staying away. Maybe it keeps it in perspective that, like, yeah, there's a 150 game sample here, but I might only be up like 1 or 2 units. Like, it's something to know. As I'm chatting here, though, the Ravens put up 6. Marquise Brown, 43-yard touchdown reception. And Harbaugh's going for 2.
That's a fun name, Bo Pete. I saw it on the roster on Our Lads. Oh, he got beat.
The Gabe's asking about thoughts on England games or NFL being played in other countries. Fat guy, I'll let you take that one.
Well, they always throw the, like, not exactly the greatest product there, like, but they're trying to increase international exposure. My guess is they're just doing it to soft condition the market to see if they can actually viably move a team there. And I think they probably will, and it'll probably be Jacksonville. That's my guess. So did he get in?
The guys say he's waving no. So I'm guessing, like, does Baltimore have to challenge this now? How does this work? Does this count as a scoring?
Oh, he's
play?
way down.
Yeah, he is down because his elbow came down.
That was close, though, like, considering how far away he was. Yeah, that travel would be such a disadvantage. And to get the players to play there, like, I would honestly think if you had a team in London, they should have 20% more of a salary cap.
And then, Sean, like, about the too high, too low stuff, like, you have to think that this advice is coming from someone who's a complete freak. Like, I could be losing this game by 40 and I'd be treating it the same way if I was up 40.
Yeah,
like,
it's
to
true.
me, the results don't matter. It's about the decisions that you make before the game. And there's never any bet you're ever going to make where it's like, oh, I'm so stupid, or oh, I'm a genius. Like,
yeah,
there's a million different results. If you play this game a million times, there's going to be a million different results. Some of those results are going to be like a 51-0 win for Indy or a 51-0 win for Baltimore. It's a possibility that could happen. And, right now the Baltimore just scored. They're more into this game. It's still a 2-possession game, as far as my math is leading me to believe. And it's a 6.5-point game right now for the Colts. I just don't get how, like I guess because the NFL has, like, the ownership is all tied together other than Jerry Jones as far as, like, the money they make. But, like, I don't know why you'd want to give up a home game. Like, you only get 8 home games. Like, why would you want to give one of those up to go to London?
I think it's really a choice.
Well, that's the thing that, like, I get that it's not a choice, but I just find that hard to believe that they're willing
They're
to
not
throw that
sending
out.
Dallas for a home game there. It's the same thing. Would you really want to be in Hard Knocks if you had the choice? Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Wentz selling out his body for the extra yard. Even like, I don't know. I guess it would be fun to have a local NFL team, but I'm not dying. That like I watched the highlights today. That pass from Josh Allen to Emmanuel Sanders, that's one of the best passes I've ever seen. Like that was on a rope. Marlon Mack in on this 2nd and 6 play. This is going to take us to the end of the quarter, barring any flags.
Nice run. God, I like watching this Colts team run when they're churning.
Kind of reminds you of that game
beating
against
up
the
on 'em.
Chiefs, right?
Oh, does it? Yeah, but those were like shorter chunks, but just more rapid, right?
Yeah.
Like they could have won the game with me at quarterback.
Yeah.
Just even if I could get the cadence down, just snap the ball, like it was awesome. That's why I always like a lot of the analytics say it's passing does it. I don't think passing takes into a pure passing offense takes into consideration the regression of stamina from the opposing defense. And I really think that running, if you could run the ball every play, it's a far better strategy than passing. And much like to use something really stupid but possibly connected, the guy who won the Madden championships, I think 2 years in a row, he had a punter as the quarterback, and he ran every single play. I think they might have had a halfback pass one of them, and they played good defense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a way that there is life imitating art, imitating life, if that makes any sense.
Well, another thing too is like anytime something gets too far like off the mean or the average, I guess is a better word to say, is that things kind of regress back. And so I've seen tons of analytics saying, there's a lot more points throwing the ball than running the ball. But if teams are becoming smaller and picking up like, more like safety type linebackers and guys that are a little bit smaller, like if one team just goes, we're going to go all power, which maybe Tennessee is kind of done, like you can still, like you might have an advantage if you're the only team that's done that, right? Compared to all the other teams.
You would have a huge advantage. You'd steamroll them. You can't tell me there's there's going to be a break-even matchup between a safety and a lineman. Just not going to happen. You're going to get pounded. And my favorite NFL strategy is when a team can run it and the other team knows they're running it and they still can't do anything about it.
Well, it's just
it's the best.
It's the Sun Tzu stuff, right? Like you're defeated before you even get out there.
And that's the best. And the other thing too is I like in those few games that I ever see that look when they pan to the defensive lineman's face and he knows like, oh man, next play I'm gonna get hit again. And there's
you get the hands on the hips.
Yeah, and his eyes rolling to the side, like this is just a nightmare. I love that. Guy's totally defeated.
The biggest thing too about that strategy is that it keeps your defense off the field.
Yes,
and it cuts
100%.
down the amount of plays that they have to play, and then you can go, you can pin your ears back and you can play, give it 100% every play.
And their pass rush gets better. Oh my goodness, man. This is a beatdown. This is such a beatdown of the defense. These guys, look at these plays, man.
Well, you can even see it on the Ravens sideline. Like you can just even seeing the guys
this is
standing
demoralizing. There. Even though it's not a huge win and they haven't won yet, this is demoralizing. Dude, Jack Doyle got a chip and a block there.
Well, they had two linemen get to the second level and make their blocks.
That was just awesome. This feels more than 115 yards rushing.
And Brandon Williams is playing, who's arguably the
probably the best run defender in the league.
Yeah, and they got Calais Campbell in there as well. Like they're not doing this against
Calais
slouches.
Campbell and Brandon Williams, you're not supposed to be able to run against that front.
Yeah.
Calais Campbell's 6'9", 340 pounds. Brandon Williams is just as heavy.
Brandon Williams blew this play up, though.
Is he the biggest and heaviest player?
Brandon Williams? If he's not, he's got to be really close.
You had a meltdown throwing the Jets Falcons over yesterday morning? I watched that game, actually. So I was up real late from a poker game. And I picked Atlanta as my survivor team. So I had some invested interest in it as well. There were so many turnovers, Mickey, that I like. First, there were 4 fumbles from the Falcons, only 2 lost, right? And it was all these turnovers from both teams in like critical areas coming away with no points. I'm surprised there wasn't a defensive touchdown.
I doubt that the Ravens are going to still be 3.5-point favorites once this game's done.
That's why they should be. It should be a pick 'em, like Zap said.
I don't know
said
what
1.5, but I think it'll shift down to a pick 'em.
Who do the Colts play next week?
Charger. Oh, I don't know who the Colts play from off the top of my head.
Colts try some trickery. It doesn't work out, but Wentz just throws it away. That's the luxury of being up too. You don't have to force stuff that's not there.
I don't mind throwing it away when it's not there. They'll be dogs. They might be, yeah.
The Colts play the Texans next week, so there's really...
Oh, right, yeah. You might see a running performance.
They're already at 9.5. That game could go up to 10.
I don't know. It shouldn't even shift, really. 9.5 is good.
Well, if the Colts end up winning this game by 20 plus points, that could happen. The other thing too, like with that Houston Indy line, like that might be a crazy OU that we get for that kind of game. Like it might be another 39. Just knowing how much both teams want to run the ball, that could be a quick.
I think it'll be 44, but yeah.
Quick 2-hour, 20-minute game.
Texans will be a good buy. I think so too, Mickey.
Overthrow by Wentz. Looks like we're going to get a field goal attempt here.
Yeah, we spoke on it already, Gabe. Unfortunate. Is he hurt, Blankenship? Like, what's the deal here?
Oh, he looks out there. That's him, right?
Yeah, he's out there, yeah. That looks good. I bet you he could, John. Kicking isn't that hard. I could kick a rugby ball 40 yards in high school. Like, it's not. I don't understand why there's such a shortage. Like people, like the economics of it should draw more, more talent to it, right? Like, because the average kicker probably makes more money, career-wise than the average running back. I mean, think about it, right? Like, average running back doesn't really make it out of his rookie contract. The average kicker that gets drafted, at least, he plays for 10 years, I would say. I mean, this is all numbers out of my head, but I'm pretty sure. And some of the kickers get paid pretty well.
The other thing that's funny, you just mentioned those two positions. Like, those are the two positions I feel like guys can lose so quickly. Yeah, like a kicker misses like 3 kicks in a game, and it's like, okay, let's bring in someone else. Like, it's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
running back, it just takes like 1 or 2 fumbles to never play again.
Yeah. Well, for an injury, which is more likely, or the fact that there's every draft 25 running backs go or whatever, right? Maybe not that many, like 18. And then if you count UDFAs, like 40 come in the league. That's so much competition.
Live line's 7.5, but heavy juice on Colts at -186. Money line for the Colts -1150, Baltimore +733, and the OU's up to 46.5 over -120, under +102. So that OU came down, but on the live line, I think it was as low as 34 is what I saw it at, but it's right back up to where it opened, 46.5, or where it closed, I should say. Yeah, Mr. Fun Monk said slowing down the game for the under. That's what people said about Cleveland versus LAC, and then there was 89 points. Game. Well, this has become a touchdown game now for Baltimore. Like, this is 4-down territory, touchdowns and 2-point conversions going forward, 16-point game. They're highlighting Darius Leonard here. What are they talking about? Just how well he's played.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Nice catch from Mark Andrews.
God, that guy is good. Ugh. WR1 for the Colts now for the Ravens for some time now. And he took the shot, too. Woo! I want the Colts to win, but that was nice. That's Xavier Rhodes. Yikes.
Fat Guy kind of already talks about that, Eric. Like, what are going to be big overreactions each week for the picks video? 79.5 OU is pretty crazy, even for a college game. There's got to be OUs that approach 100 in college football.
Yeah.
Holy.
Mark Andrews. I thought they were getting the ball out, though. That hit from Toure.
Nice blitz pick up there from the running back. I didn't see who was in at running back, but they made a nice play on the block. Looks like Devontae Freeman, if I had to guess.
Dude, how tall is Josh Oliver?
Oh, he's looking pretty big out there.
Dude, that guy looks massive, man.
Yeah, that was Devontae Freeman earlier with the key block on the drive, and now a nice reception. Devontae Freeman, a fat guy favorite while he was with the Falcons.
Yeah, it totally is. Oh, I wonder if my sister knows him. San Jose State. Oh. Whoops. 6'5". He's only 6'5". He's shorter than I am. Is that Mark Andrews?
Yep. Quick score here from the Ravens. With the 2-point conversion, this could be a 1-possession game.
The flag.
Penalty on the defense, so they will decline this, take the touchdown.
I don't think so, Zaps. That'd be
so.
Interesting, though.
You should be able to. I don't think you are able to, but you should be able to. Ole Miss Arkansas was over 100 last week in regulation. I
hate zone defense. It's like 3 guys doing nothing on that play. Should be a mix of man and zone. And you get double teams in certain spots. Mark Andrews having a game.
Well, this thing is still very interesting. Still 9:38 left in this game.
I think the Colts are going to run this down to like 3 minutes. That's my guess. And they're going to just run all over them. That's what I think. That's the thing, too, though, about having the run strategy that we like is it's easier for the other team to come back, theoretically.
It just depends how successfully you can run the ball.
Yeah.
But it should always be like, in this scenario, it should be run first. And if the other team sells out, then you have to have those types of, the play action passes. And not every play has to, it doesn't have to go for 80 yards. Like 15, 20 yards is more than acceptable.
Oh, the dreaded momentum. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The line on this game is still 7.5, but the juice is flipped to the Ravens minus 153, which is interesting considering this is an 8-point game. Money line, Colts minus 413, Ravens plus 326. The OU is now at 52 with juice on the under at minus 113. That's true, John. That's why Buffalo's I know Fat Guy and I hated Buffalo's playoff strategy last year because they were up 2 scores with 6 minutes left and they were just chucking the ball at will.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's tough, right? Because eventually you're playing possessions, right? You're not playing your opponent, you're playing possessions. Ideally, if Indy can keep the ball for the last 9:38, they win the game. So what can they do to keep it? It's pretty much impossible because there's still timeouts and it's just not going to work out that way.
You get close, though, if you do the 4-run. That's tough.
Mr. Fun Monk said, did anyone else notice the 4 teams that started the season 0-3 against the spread, Kansas City, Washington, Jacksonville, Jets, all won against the spread in week 4, but then they all lost in week 5? I did not notice that. But it's, any team that's losing that much against the spread, they're just going to get better spread prices. That's not a for sure thing, but you're more likely to get better spread prices on those teams. They're showing shirtless Raven fans going nuts in the stands, which is awesome. It's one of the things you kind of miss about going to games is getting to see some of the crazy people.
Wow, they're coming out 5 wide. Oh, they're bringing Taylor back in. Okay.
So they know now that they're in man because they brought a linebacker all the way out there on them.
Yeah, that's
and then they go
akin
to
to
a
a
and then they go to a man beater with a pick from Pittman for
yeah, that's akin to a run though.
it is. It's just good. It's smart coaching, right? Like
Yeah.
you bring that motion to see what kind of coverage they're in. You have two different routes, one for zone, one for man, and they make that play. They get their 4 yards,
That's
and then
4 yards is great.
it also keeps Baltimore on their toes, going like, okay, they're not just going to run the ball every single play.
Here's your run. No. He's got him. Yeah. Oh, nice catch, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, that throw was not on the money, but Taylor
bad.
made a good catch. It looks like obviously he's not, like, he makes it look effortless, but it looks like Taylor's just like jogging by players.
Oh man, he punked Queen and Justin Houston.
He
Houston, I can understand, right? Like
Those don't count as broken tackles, but there was 4 Ravens that missed, that didn't make a play there.
Queen's got to make that play though. I can understand Justin Houston for a variety of reasons, but man, and they go 3 passes in a row. Eventually, this is going to happen. Oh, this might be a flag against Baltimore.
Justin Houston with the sack. There's some names on this Baltimore D-line.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Anyone have more sacks than him the last 12 years? Might be no. It'd be him and Von Miller.
And maybe J.J. Watt.
Yeah, but J.J. Watt, he had those injury years. I don't think so.
What did they call here?
Face mask.
I want to see a replay.
Or personal foul. I don't know. Roughing the passer. I don't know. I thought I heard face mask, but then I don't know.
Mickey said face mask. He's got him by the
collar. Horse collar.
Yeah. If they're able to run the ball like this, though, there's really no point in doing anything else. Like,
especially when you have the lead, can't win. Like, you need a fumble. Like, there's no, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else.
Zap's highlighting that the Ravens have a rookie safety, Brandon Stevens, who's making his first start, saying he's not playing great. This has just been a bad overall performance for the entire Ravens defense, though, to be honest.
I don't know. I think it's been more of just a great performance by the Colts. Yeah, all right. All right. It'll be 3rd and 1 roughly. Taylor got 2 yards running up the gut, inside handoff.
Yeah, so it's going to be 3rd down.
3rd and 1.
3rd and 1 here. Clock is running. Game clock's at 6:40. 28 seconds on the play clock. They're taking 2 receivers out. They're bringing in some big tight ends. So I got a feeling I'm going to call it here that it's going to be some sort of short play action to one of these tight ends. They've got Doyle, Granson, and Allie Cox, all 3 of their tight ends on in this play, as well as Doolin. Wentz audibling at the line. They're going to have to use a timeout, and they do. So that's the first charged timeout to the Indianapolis Colts. 6:11 left in the game. 3rd and 1 upcoming after this timeout. Mud calling for a Mo Alley Cox touchdown, I'm hoping. And then Zap's saying the same thing. Spicy play action coming up is his guess. I just got a feeling it's going to be one of those like block and release to a tight end to the flat type of play. Highlighting that the Ravens rushing record is in limbo probably what they deserve after what they did. I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago. Receiver in motion.
They run the ball.
They
He
run
got
the
in.
ball.
Oh my! He dove over the line, landed on a guy, and slid forward. It was awesome.
And it looks like he got a favorable spot because who knows where they were going to actually mark him down.
No, he landed on a guy.
Yeah,
It was
well,
just
that's what I mean.
bodies.
Like how. Yeah, he didn't actually get his elbow down until the ball
No,
was
that
pretty
was
much on the
awesome.
grass.
That was rad. That's actually a good play. If you just crash everyone down and get the guy to jump, he could leapfrog. Holy, that's so weird, but good.
Yeah, Zap said, never mind. No need to call play action when you have Jonathan Taylor.
Why? Yeah, why complicate it? Take the time off the clock. If you have to go for it on fourth, do it.
It looks like Ravens used a timeout here.
Yeah, they did.
Mickey said he's back up. Chris Strausser, Colts offensive line coach. They're doing this all without Quentin Nelson as well. Ravens going heavy in the box here. Wentz pointed to himself like, oh, that's my bad. So maybe he didn't
Audible
out of a play that he shouldn't have. According to ESPN's FPI, the Titans have a very good chance of winning the division.
and
Third and 8 here for the Colts. Clock is running. Ravens have allowed 126 yards on the ground this game. Oh boy.
I like how they're like not even close. The announcer. I'm like, okay, what about the other 20 run plays? Like, okay.
That was interesting because the Ravens started using their timeouts and they sold out on the run on every one of those plays, and the Colts just willingly, like, they took it. And now we're going to get a field goal attempt here, 37 yards to make this a 2-score game. And
Oh man, big plays.
it's blocked. I was just going to say the live line went to 3, which made me think something was up.
Wow.
Currently live line 3.5. Ravens plus 355 on the money line. And Calais Campbell with the block. And the Colts are fortunate that like nothing bad happened there on that block, because that's an easy one for the defense to take back.
Oh, 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 oh.
5-star entertainment upcoming. It sure is. Calais Campbell, one of the scariest men in the NFL.
He's got pretty small arms for a guy that big.
Like it's, are they that small or is he just that big?
I don't know.
Mr. Fun Monk said, not a fan of situational ATS records. There's only one that I believe in. When a team wins straight up as a 7-point dog, go against them the next 3 games and bet on the team they beat the next 3. Oh, it's an interesting thing to follow. That's not something that I would do personally,
I wouldn't do
but
it.
it's an interesting thing to look into and follow and see how it does. Eric said, if you have Indy +7, you don't have to worry about OT.
That's not true.
It's not true, but it's less likely.
Yeah.
LJ looking like Johnny U back there. Yep. Well, just like I know part of it is defenses get tired, but just it feels like defenses really soften up at the end of these games.
Oh man. Dude, how fast is this guy? Good job, Leonard.
Darius Leonard has made a couple excellent plays
Or was that
against Lamar
Okawiri?
Jackson. I'm pretty sure that was Leonard.
Dude, look at his Grover Muhammad's shoulder pad. The jersey's just ripped. You know how hard that is to do? Like, it's not ripped from the seam. It's just ripped, like, mid-fabric. That's nuts. Well, that's zone defense for you.
Yeah. But Lamar's still getting it done. He's putting it into these windows, allowing guys to make these plays.
You gotta give credit to Brown on that.
Brown's developing into a better player.
But that was like there wasn't a lot of room, and he got in there.
That play's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Mickey said he didn't even think about the Colts in Baltimore factor. Zaps brings up a good point here that it pretty much comes up to the 2-point conversion now because I believe they still have 1 timeout left, but it's going to be hard for them to stop the clock if they don't
Do Colts have 2 timeouts?
I think the Colts still have all 3, but no, I think you're right because Wentz did have to take a timeout on that 3rd and 1 play, I believe.
I got hate on this commercial. It's the one that you got a privacy strike on,
Yeah.
or a copyright strike.
Yeah, how quickly the Ravens score here is quite important for them.
He's in. No, he fumbled. He said he's down.
What a break. So we're going to get, this is an interesting one, right? Because this is a pretty important call. The play clock's running. The time's running out. The time is pretty important for them. Like, I guess there's two schools of thought that you don't want to give them the ball back.
He's down.
He is down. So pretty fortunate.
He tripped again. He needs, longer spikes at home. Wow.
Now you're kind of at the point where it's like you just want all the time to come off the clock. Man, they fought over that ball.
Well, that's what happens when you have a running back that's only practiced with you for a week and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought he should have handed that off, though. He's really going to burn around the other side. I mean, he is Lamar, so nothing's off the table. He's got all the time in the world. Mark Andrews, unbelievable. Mark Andrews is having an insane game.
And just the awareness to be, he's giving himself the most space by toying with that goal line. Well, if they're not gonna, they get it.
Mark Andrews, how many points does this guy have, fantasy wise? Holy!
All of a sudden, the Ravens are favorites on the money line, -144. Interesting to take the Colts at +122 at this moment, considering that this is their game to win. And dare I say, 6-star entertainment, boys.
Yeah.
This is an interesting scenario, Zaps.
Andrews has almost 30 fantasy points. They played even flow in the stadium.
Well, quietly, I've put up maybe my best fantasy performance of all time. With
How much?
I've got 157 points.
That's of the highest I've ever heard of in a 10-team league. Standard points.
Thanks to Jonathan Taylor and Lamar Jackson
Lamar
for
Jackson, yeah.
having big games.
Oh! Oh!
Big completion. Detroit one time's an awful week for me. 5-10-1. That's okay. Those
All right,
weeks
give me
happen.
100 to 1 then, Zaps. I'll take 100 to 1 then. They still got to get there, though.
Colts still have 2 timeouts, which is super, super fortunate in this situation.
What are you doing? Throw it away. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I don't
That's
know if
very
Hines
good.
did that on purpose, but that
was good if he
incompletion
dropped
helps
that.
them. Yeah, he definitely took his hands away. That's a pretty heads-up play by Nyheim Hines.
Yeah.
Lisa Salters just staring at the kicker. I think that's Lisa Salters at least.
He wanted a flag. That's what he wanted.
There was a flag on this play. I'm just curious which side it's on.
Holding offense.
On the offense. Now, do you accept or decline this? You have to accept, right? You have to take that field position right now.
Now the announcer's ripping on Carson Wentz. I don't think he did anything wrong there.
Good job by Calais Campbell selling that. So the Ravens did that entire drive without using a timeout, which is kind of impressive. Key tackle here on the screen. So Indy's going to use their second timeout. What happened there?
Doyle sold that.
Doyle did sell that, but that was a dumb play for Young to make.
I think you're right, Zaps. Good point.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one, Zaps, to decide.
You know what? I'm with Zaps on that. I wouldn't go for it on fourth. Like, maybe, I don't know. When you have that kicker issue and they have Tucker, like their chance of making a huge kick is so much higher than yours.
The other thing too to add to against my point is that with one less down, that's one less chance for a flag like what just happened here.
They still have 2 timeouts here. If everyone knows to go down right away, they can pull off 2 plays here.
Yeah, I know they talked about getting the first person, which would have been Doyle in this case. So it is what it is. Huge completion here to Zach Pascal. We're going to get like a 48, 47-yard attempt. They're kicking this one. There's no way they're going to run another play. Tons of room in the middle of the field. For some reason, Baltimore decided they wanted to have 3 safeties deep. And then that led to Pascal being one-on-one with Humphreys. Yeah, if they make this field goal, Jack Doyle, with recency bias, was the game winner, I guess you could say. I don't get why the clock's stopped here.
They called a timeout.
Indy did, so they're out of timeouts. Is that their?
No, they called what? They used one timeout.
For some reason, I thought they only had one timeout left.
They had 2.
Okay. I think they're going to use the play that Brady made in week 1 where they're going to have like Hines run an out route and they're just going to chuck it out of bounds.
Good job.
They tried to line it up in the center of the field. I forgot about this block.
Did you see Blankenship like pretend like he was gonna get in there, and then he?
No, I didn't see it.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get in and help, and then he turned his back.
It's the right play for him to make. There's no point in him being a hero.
Whatever.
I don't know. Mickey made it sound like the guy had sniffles and they weren't sure if he was gonna kick. So.
No way. Hey, I would have taken 101.
Entertainment.
Why can't they kick a field goal? I don't get it. Like, I don't care if you're sick. You're sick? You can't kick a field goal?
He said it's on him. I like how Calais Campbell got through the exact same way that time as he did. And if you don't think that had like some sort of mental thing with where that kick went, then
I hope not. I hope you're not that soft.
It's interesting, like live line right now, you can bet the Ravens -2.5 at -135, or you can bet them to win, and it was like -160 something.
What? So what are they going to get by
They're going to win by a safety?
Like...
Or that's really it.
That's it. Oh, there's a weird way that you can score 1 point, I think. I don't remember what it is.
The fact that you just said that there's a weird way that you can score 1 point is so unlikely that it's not worth that much
I don't
juice.
even know what it is. Oh, they didn't, Mickey?
This is crazy too. Like, how confident would you have been if it was Tucker making that kick.
Very.
Yeah, the Colts plus 7.5 is fairly likely. What it would take I guess it's not even possible, right? Like who starts with the ball here? I guess the Ravens won the tip.
Yeah.
So Colts would have to get the ball, kick a field goal, and then score a defensive touchdown, right? That's the only way they could cover, or the Ravens would cover it. So I guess technically it's still possible.
Yeah, it is.
But it's pretty unlikely that could happen.
Yeah, but if the Ravens, the thing about the defensive touchdown that doesn't make any sense is if you get an interception or a fumble and you recover it, the game's over anyways.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's such a...
It would have to be like a recovery in the end zone. Or like someone has a pick so close to the end zone, they're like, all right.
Or it can be a keep to leave, and they'll do anything they can to...
That one I couldn't believe that we lost on. He went out of his way with like a convoy of blockers to score.
We talked about it. I don't know if you were here yet, but I was talking about like incentives in contracts and just how crazy it can be, right? Like,
should be win probability driven.
Yeah, like what if
Eckler
has like, because in that game Eckler was trying not to score and got pulled into the end zone. Like, what if he has also like a contract thing where it's tied towards touchdowns?
Yeah.
So the last 3 drives have all been 75 plus yards and resulted in touchdowns, and all lasted less than 4 minutes. It's been quite the turnaround here for the Ravens, who I saw as high as plus 730, I believe, on the money line.
Dude, Brown, like, they're just so undermanned at corner right now. It's going to be tough.
Zap's bringing up a good point, too, that they're 35 yards away from the rushing.
Dude, Leonard's in man against a wide receiver. No, it isn't. 28. I like that push. That was mean.
Buckner, I believe, with that push.
No, it's over, Mickey.
Yeah, if they go straight touchdown, then it's it. It's 6 points. Can Gruden take Mike Mayock with him?
Well, this might be Mayock's last year anyways, but I don't think so. No, there's a weird way it can happen in the NFL, Eric. I can't exactly remember.
Well, is it like a blocked extra point that gets returned? Like, does that count as one?
That's 2. There's some other way. I read an article about it once, but it's never happened. Oh, yeah, I have money on this game. I forgot up until now. I have Colts plus 7. Forgot I took a bet at the death.
Oh.
Dude, that Sendejo. Oh, yes. Yes, that's it. Jake has it. Blocked Pat and the defense recovers it, but someone gets tackled in their own end zone. 1 point safety. That is it. I don't know how it could ever happen, but
all of a sudden on the live line, the Ravens are minus 5.5, minus 117. So touchdown looking likely. I guess, did they end up calling this? They're showing a replay enough times.
I don't know. I'm surprised. I don't know how you can call it afterwards, right? Yeah. That makes sense, Jake. I guess what if he hit it, like they blocked it, and it happened at least once in a college game? All right. If you blocked it and the trajectory shot it in near your own end zone, and you picked it up and tried to run around and out.
Did that guy just get ejected? Like, I didn't fully understand. I just
might
saw
have
him
a
walking
concussion.
off.
I think that's how they took him out.
But it was the Colts guy that was coming out.
Yeah, that was a big hit for him too, right?
Yeah, good point. Maybe his shoulder.
Yeah, he's hurt. That makes sense, Ivono.
My dumb question, is Oliver a rookie?
I don't know.
Tight ends are always so tough because like half the
Yeah,
guys don't even play their rookie years. Lamar Jackson's such a threat at quarterback.
this
It
is
really
such an
makes
amazing comeback.
it makes it so tough on the defense because guys have
I
to
feel
make
for the
split.
Colts.
Yeah, guys have to make these split-second decisions, and if you're not right, it can be costly. This is definitely going to be a bad beat if you had the Colts money line, which I don't think anyone in chat had it.
Yeah,
Also, the door is still open for Tony Meatballs to get his Lamar Jackson rushing touchdown.
how did he not get it by now? Like, so close.
That would be some sort of major gambling troll. This guy, 63, is coming in as an eligible receiver, as a lineman. So let's watch for some tomfoolery with 63.
Good timeout, Colts.
I wonder if they called that when they saw the eligible. Yeah, Zaps didn't like the Colts' chances of getting a stop here. This is on pace to be the 4th touchdown in a row for Baltimore, but who knows? If you do want to take the Colts, it was plus 953 on the money line before this play.
Yeah, I don't. Uh, I like LA. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. That makes complete sense. Well, no, I think M minus 3.5 against LA is insane.
So it's going to be 2nd and goal from like the 5.5-yard line. We might get to the point where the Ravens have to decide between kicking the field goal and going for it.
Everyone's got the points, Ivono.
Huge come from behind victory for the Baltimore Ravens, who win by 6. covering the spread for Colts bettors at +7.5. What a wild game. And I finished with 164 fantasy points.
Oh my goodness. That's of the highest I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it's a lot of points. Well, time to update the leaderboard and see where things stand. The live in the line in the contest was 6.5, so that was pretty close.
That's still a cover.
Fat guy, we finished 8-7-1 this week.
We'll take it.
But congrats. I think there was a lot of positive winning today. I know a lot of people were on the Colts. Jack Doyle, Karma, Lamar Jackson in second half in OT, 29 for 32, 335 yards, 4 touchdowns. The rushing record dies. That was an exciting game. I agree, Mud. Lamar nearly got 450. Next week is a 5-star game. See you Thursday, Mud. Mr. Fun. Monk Chargers are going to clock the Ravens. Sean clapping 100. Congrats. Michigan, you can check out BigRyanTheFatGuy.com to see what that overall record is. I've got the tail going. Give me the Ravens at the points, says Corey. Glad the Colts covered. Parlay pool rolled into a 3-week pot. 2 cats were on Baltimore. That's awesome, John. Congrats, man. And then Mickey also 8-7-1. That's it for us, though. That's week 5 in the books. If you guys haven't joined, the next video will be a membership video done by the Fat Guy on Wednesday. Ask the Fat Guy comes with lots of knowledgeable information to help all of us, including myself, learn more about the ins and outs of gambling. And then Thursday morning, I'll have the NFL betting market for Thursday night football, which is, I believe, Philly at Tampa Bay, if I'm not mistaken, or the other way around, Tampa Bay, Philly. So it'll be
I think it's Tampa Bay at Philly.
Tampa Bay at Philly on Thursday night, so that'll be an interesting one. I'll just double check and see. Either way, that's it for Fat Guy and I.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Have a good night.